I have a serial killer there, and then he came and he's awesome shit, you say.
Hello, and how are we doing today? Welcome to our Tuesday, which is Saturday, which is pretty good. All right, that mic is spiking. Sorry. Hold on. We're going to adjust this on the fly. There we go. Shout out to all the people that are here. We're going to have fun tonight. Tonight's a really weird one. We're going to frame the camera. I forgot to do this earlier, so let's just get that done. There we go. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome. We did it. Fuck yeah. Hello. Howdy. How's everybody? We're doing all right? Quarantine doing okay for everybody? We got a real weird one for you tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I could say that I put a lot of effort into the show, and that's why I don't know what's going to happen. But truth be told, I have no idea what's going to happen because I was playing a lot of Witcher last night. So, you know, what do you do? Nothing you can do. Nothing you can get ready for. It's all good. We have an awesome show. There's got some awesome people coming in. We got, you know how it is. We got you. We got you covered. It's pretty good. We're gonna adjust over here a little bit more, and there we go. We're gonna spend a little bit. You're doing all right. Good. Don't forget we have Nightbot in here now, and he can tell you guys all kinds of fun stuff, as well as reminding you to donate to my Venmo, Corey Adam Comedy, Venmo, PayPal. I'll get a Cash App if that's what it takes. Whatever it takes to see your generous donations, I will. And I'm going to even adjust the camera on the fly here. That's how it is. Oh, Captain, my Captain, how are you? Hello, Freaky Deaky. We can also put up the info one. There's all kinds of weird phrases. So in order to play with Nightbot, what you do is you press exclamation point first, and then whatever you want, like hi Tom. I know Mikey's in there. Mikey is super generous with his 1 bit. I don't care that you gave 1 bit, Mikey, but it's real weird that you want some kind of like acknowledgement about it. You know, you're like, hey man, 1 bit, praise me. I'm so generous. Okay, everybody's look at that. Otsu's there with 2 bits. That means twice as generous as you. Step it up or step off, homie. We got today's going to be really weird and fun. It's going to be a banana sandwich of stuff. Thanks to everybody for hosting. Thanks for the bits. We got Collar Palooza up in our bitch. Like, I mean, this is going to be a crazy, crazy fucking world tonight. We can do you first. Hold on one sec. Somebody. All right, we'll see what happens. Happy Easter, dick face. Thank you. Merry Easter, everybody. Yeah, happy Easter. Your mom says you're a dick face. How would she know? That's really creepy. I hate that. All right, let's get off your phone. No, I won't get off this is my show. If I want to spend the entire fucking show on my phone, that's what I'll do. I'm trying to orchestrate fucking callers right now, buddy. There's no hi, guys. Stay on your phone. See, that's what I like. That's what I fucking like. Whoa, what? Andrew Lee even has a Twitch. What is happening here? You know what? That's fine. We're gonna say fucking bumps, everybody. Hold on. That's right, bitches. Yeah, it's pretty good. Probably be later. FYI, got started late. And now we're just gonna bump Drew because Drew is the real hero here. Thank you for the announce. I signed up just to watch Corey. That's what I like. Look at that. And your mom, Drew, you're here, and now your mom has subscribed. So I think what's the most embarrassing fun picture? Oh yeah. Oh, I know exactly what picture we're getting for Drew. Oh, I got this. Let's see. I got to go to fansonly.net because he couldn't get on the .com. There we go. Hi, Tom. Hi, Tom. Shout out to all the Toms out there doing their Tom-like things. That's pretty rad. Here we go. Drew, are you ready? We're going into you right now. We're just going right off the bat. We're going right into you, baby. You ready? I hope you're ready for this. It's coming. Get ready. It's coming so good. Get ready. Oh, get so ready. Get so ready. Check it out. Are you ready? It's happening. Okay, check out this sweet picture I found of you. That is. How are you, buddy? Good. Identify yourself to the listeners. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Wait, hold on.
Can I plug my show?
Yeah, actually, here. I'm so bad at this. I had your volume muted. Now it's on again. So here we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this over again. Okay, you just be quiet for a sec. Okay, hold on.
Okay. All right, I'm quiet.
Shh. Ring, 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 ring. Hello.
Hey, Corey, what's going on?
Oh,
man?
hey, Drew. So happy to hear your voice on this program for the first time ever.
What a surprise call. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, pretty great, right? Somebody, one of the people in the chat room said, quick, hang up on him. It's a trap.
Yeah, I've been trapped by Corey too many times already.
Hey, man, that's insider trading. You don't get to release that information. How's the quarantine handling you?
It sucks. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I'm frustrated. But at least I still get to work. I still get to go into work. So that's
now you're one of the people that doesn't believe in medicine, right? Like you think that they should just be letting us French kiss and use leeches to cure it?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't quite go that far. Yeah, I believe in medicine.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel like you're setting me up here. No, I am a firm believer in medicine, and I only French kiss Corey.
Okay. Well, but that's how we spread our own SARS, too.
Yeah.
It's ironic. People don't talk about this very often, but when you and I are kissing, it actually turns into SARS-69.
Corey is my antibody.
That's right.
He's infected with so many things that kissing Corey is like taking a vaccine.
You're not wrong. My blood is like Wolverine. The healing factor is just having to deal with all the STDs I've acquired over the years.
Yeah, so I've got little Corey antibodies flowing through me. I feel like I'm safe for anything.
Whoa, holy shit. One of our regulars just said, holy shit, is that Drew? Your show just went to the next level. You've increased our stature right now.
Yeah, I should be charging you for this, to be honest.
Is that true?
I think so.
Sorry, I'm going through a tunnel. I'll tell you what. Instead of paying you, right, you and everybody listening can Venmo me at Corey Adam Comedy.
There you go. Everybody Venmo him Corey Adam Comedy, and he's gonna share 10% with me.
Wait, what?
That's what I said.
Wow.
That was the deal.
No.
We signed the contract earlier today.
What contract? How many times do I have to tell you? Come on a mat is not a legally binding contract.
Okay. All right.
Was that the one?
That was too far.
Oh, okay. Now it's too far.
now you've gone too far.
How many pins did you put on your stupid hat when you were in Germany?
9.
Nice.
I'm looking at it right now. That hat is actually sitting right in front of me.
What'd I tell you about a souvenir? That's the best thing, right? A shitty felt hat and pins. You'll never feel more German in your life.
It was awesome. I fit right in, man.
How'd you like that trip?
That was amazing. That was the best trip I've ever been on. It was incredible. 6 days.
Did you? I forgot to ask you about this. When you were over there, did you have Lowenbrow?
Oh yeah. We were in the Lowenbrow tent for Oktoberfest.
It's fucking insane how good Lowenbrow is over there. It's one of my favorite beers, and then here it tastes like horse piss.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's funny, like because it's so fresh over there. That's the big difference, right?
Well, and I don't know. Well, I think the big thing is that it's made when it's over there. It's made by their recipe. Like here, it's just made by like fucking Anheuser Busch. Like one of the big companies owns it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's an AB InBev product.
Yeah, I think so
hard,
too.
You really can't even find it over here that much anymore. But yeah, we were in the Lowenbrow tent for Oktoberfest.
That's amazing, man. I'm so happy for you.
Tossed back about 4 of those big steins, while we were in there, man. It is so tasty.
How German did you feel after 2 German beers?
Oh, it was great. I never felt more German than when the entire tent at Oktoberfest was singing John Denver songs.
What? You left this out. I never heard this part.
Because, you go to Oktoberfest, you're in the big tent. They've got the big Oompa band right in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Giant band. They start playing Country Roads, Take Me Home. And the entire tent.
all I can see is your drunk ass looking up like, finally, my time to shine.
Oh, everybody's on their tables, beers in the air.
Yeah. Oh, they don't give a fuck, dude.
Much fun, man. I want to go back so bad.
Oh, I know. I lived there and I got to experience 2 of them, And where were you? Where were you in Germany?
We stayed in Salzburg, Austria. That's
Okay.
where we're staying. Oktoberfest was in Munich. It was like the big one in Munich.
Okay. Mikey, thanks for hosting. We got hosted. Like all kinds of good stuff is coming because you're here, man.
Hell yeah, man! I bring the heat. I bring the smoke.
Yeah, you do. The no, it's so like I lived in Munich, right? Just outside of it, and like the Munich Oktoberfest is just out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy. My buddy Schmitty that I co-host the Beer Cast with.
Yep.
We lost him in Oktoberfest. Like he completely
Really?
disappeared. Because it's the size of like the Minnesota State Fair. It may even be bigger, right?
How do you know Schmitty? Because I met him the once, and he seems like an awesome dude.
Oh, Schmitty and I have been doing the Beer Cast now for going on 5 years.
I feel like you should promote that because I feel like that is a little bit more accessible to the drunks that listen to my show.
Probably right. MinnesotaBeerCast.com. It's a show that I host with Andrew Schmitty. He goes by. We haven't done an episode in about a month because of all this quarantine crap.
Was I on the last episode?
Yeah, you were actually. The last
yeah.
That was the last episode we did. But yeah, it's a fun show. And I met Schmitty because I wanted to do a podcast about craft beer.
Right.
I was sitting downstairs playing a video game, drinking a Surly, and this was, again 5 years ago, right? Right when the scene was really blowing up.
Yeah, this is actually the same time where like Sam had just started Sisyphus because he was way ahead of it too. You guys are prophets. You're fucking alcoholic prophets.
That's right. It's not when it's craft beer. It's not alcoholism. It's a hobby. But so I just sent out a tweet, and I just grabbed my phone and I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, anybody out there interested in doing a podcast on craft beer? And Schmitty, who I'd never met, never talked to before, replied to my tweet. We exchanged a couple DMs. We had a phone call, and we recorded our first episode like 4 days later.
He slid into your DM box and into your heart.
and he's never left.
What's his background? Like where does he come from? Because I mean, he really seems to know his beer really well.
Yeah. He's really tied in with the industry. He knows all the brewers, he knows everybody involved. But where he got his entry point was he was the prime lobbyist for Sunday Sales.
Okay.
He ran the Sunday Sales organization. He lobbied he spent 5 years every session up there lobbying for Sunday Sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how he got to know everybody. He's primarily responsible for the fact that we can buy booze on Sundays in Minnesota.
Wow, that kind of makes him a hero in my eyes.
Exactly.
You know what we need to do? We all need to chip in and get him a purple Stein.
No, we should have him how every town in Greater Minnesota has their own Paul Bunyan statue. We need Schmitty statues. We need big, giant Schmitty statues holding the big Stein.
I should talk to Sam and see if we can't get a Schmitty beer made.
Actually, he's had a couple beers for the Sunday Sales efforts. Him and LTD and Hopkins every year would have a Sunday Sales IPA that would go on, and they'd sell it out in a day. And
if I were gonna make a beer off you, it would be a light alcoholic beer called the Drew Stop Inn.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I just know that you're prepared to handle this rough new world where people are going to aggress you for drinking. That's why I'm making it a near beer, my friend.
Oh, I get a near beer.
Yeah.
Damn, that ain't right.
Well, you're nearly a human, so you get nearly a beer.
Oh, God. I thought we were friends.
We are. I actually love you to death. And honestly, it's kind of funny because, I feel like because of who you are, I should have you on here and, break down your political takes. But, I think that it's way more interesting to talk beer and wrestling with you because I feel like that's an outlet that you don't get. I mean, the beer, you get the beer cast on, but I don't think a lot of people that listen to you understand what an avid wrestling fan you are.
I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. I mean, as long as I remember enjoying things, wrestling was one of the first things I fell in love with as a kid, and I've liked it all my life. I've been a lapsed fan at times, but when you grow up loving something and you have those memories of your dad taking you to the arenas.
Whoa, we get it. You have a dad. That's a weird flex, man. Calm down.
I had to brag a little.
What an asshole.
I used to go see Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and Wahoo McDaniel and Blackjack Mulligan. I mean, those were I'd go see their shows down in Miami.
Are you allowed to mention Wahoo without being a racist? Is that allowed, or how does that work now?
I don't know, man, but that's his name, so that's what I'm calling him. Used to play for the Miami Dolphins. I'm a big.
Is that
Wahoo
true?
Gator fan. Yeah.
Oh, I never knew
Yeah,
that.
he played on the 1972 undefeated team.
That's crazy. And you grew up like around Miami, right? Or are you just in Florida and you were a Miami fan?
No, I grew up in Miami. I
Okay.
lived in Miami until I was 13.
What's that like? Like, what's like being a kid in Miami like?
Yeah, you know, I didn't get, because I left when I was 13. You know, when you would actually start to get to go enjoy things. My memories of Miami are literally just riding my bike to the Village Mall and going to Ferrari's Pizza and playing Asteroids. I mean, that was our thing. We used to go swim in the canals, ride our bikes to the malls. I mean, that's my memory of Miami.
Mikey Two Milks wants to know how you became a comedian and still retain a father. I feel like that was a pot shot at me and it really hurt.
It's very accurate.
Do you ever like, I don't know if you get this on your show or not, but do you ever just like feel proud of your thick skin because it seems like your fans want to hurt you? Or is that just me?
It takes a while to get there, but yeah, man, you gotta, you know, when you catch as much shit as we do on Twitter and through email, then yeah,
I think that you are an underrated provocateur just based on like whenever I retweet anything you tweet, I get shit for it.
Good.
And it's like, I mean, I don't care. Like, I'll fucking, you know me, I'll go to bat. I don't give a shit. But it's just super funny because it's like, you're getting so much heat, your fucking retweets are getting heat. Bly Dog wants to know if you have any stories of gators growing up.
I do. I don't have a lot of like phobias or fears or anything, but I'm truly genuinely scared of gators because my two older brothers were like Florida rednecks. I mean, they really were in their teenage years, and we used to go fishing in the Everglades.
I feel like I'm starting to understand you a little more, Drew.
Oh yeah, we'll get into this. We used to go fishing in the Everglades all the time, and fishing in the Everglades is just basically pulling your car off the road and walking up to the edge of the swamp and throwing a line in. But my middle brother Bobby used to like to provoke gators. So,
what?
Yeah.
That sounds like your brother is the stupidest person on earth. I don't mean any disrespect, but like that might be the stupidest thing I've ever heard just on a surface level. Like, oh, I'm bored. Think I'll harass these dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's what he would do. He'd get drunk and he would he was an idiot teenage redneck when we were down in Florida. And so what he would do is he'd throw his line out and he'd try to land it on the gators, like not on his nose. You know, they got the long snouts. He tried to land it on their snout.
He was just trying to antagonize them.
Yeah, piss them off.
God.
And then they would chase him back to the car. And it was the stupidest thing I'd ever been a part of in my life, and he did it all the time. It was his favorite thing to do was provoke gators, get him pissed off, and then get him to chase him back to his car.
That's intense.
I don't like gators.
I've only had one gator experience. So when I went down to Florida to open up for Swartzen, we went to this place called Gulf Coast University, and they have, I'm sure you'll know the names of all these places. I don't really remember them, but they have a fucking highway that goes over the fucking Everglades.
Alligator Alley.
Yeah, it's called like Alligator Alley, and like they've got all these signs about like don't stop, this and that. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have built an overpass where gators were, you fucking morons.
The scary thing about gators is they can be anywhere. They're so silent.
Oh,
so
so anyway, so this is my only gator story I have, right? Because I'm a fucking Yank. Like, when I was a kid, we did the same thing where I moved to Oregon, but we moved back when I was like 13. So when people ask me about Oregon, I kind of have the same basic effect. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, yeah, you know, I don't really remember. I remember doing kid shit. But when I went down to Florida, I'm at this gig. It's at Gulf Coast University. I get done. I'm outside trying to find a place to smoke my weed or wacky tobacco if there's cops listening. Huh? So I'm outside smoking, right? And I fucking like am looking, and so they have these like roads that are, it's basically like 4 lanes, you know, 2 going each way. And across the road is just this giant fucking thing that looks like a possum or something because it's like dusk, you know?
Right.
And I look over at a guy and I go, what is that, a fucking possum? And the guy looks at me and he goes, oh no, that's a gator. I wouldn't go over there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like that was fucking like crazy to me because like I had never even seen a gator up close, right? There's one literally across the street, and the dude next to me not only knows that, but doesn't give a shit. He's like, oh yeah, they're all over the place. He goes, people on campus will feed them, so they just kind of crawl all over the place. Like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it's stupid. People in Florida are really stupid when it comes to gators. But if you're going to go golfing in Florida, you kind of got to get used to that. If you're going to play golf in Florida, you got to understand that anywhere there's a water hazard, there's a 99% chance there's some gators.
So
there.
it's a gator
I was
hazard.
I remember I was playing golf one time, and
I played the worst game of golf from the time I played through that gator hazard from then on because I had one arm.
So I was playing. We were playing one time, and there was this British couple playing in front of us, and it was one of those days where it's kind of slow. So, we'd always have to wait for them to tee off and wait for them. So they're teeing off on a hole. We're sitting in our carts waiting, and there's a couple gators sitting by the water, and they're like, and you can hear them talking. They're like, "Do you think those gators are real?" And the guy's like, "No, they wouldn't let real gators be here on a golf course." So we're just laughing because they're walking up and getting closer and closer and closer, and then the gator just moves a little bit, and they bolted it back to their golf cart. They didn't think they were real. They thought they were like stone gators.
That's fucking weird. Bly Dog asks, are there any Amarillos down there?
Armadillos?
Yeah, what did I say?
Amarillos?
Look, I'm drinking, man. I don't know what you want from me.
yeah, we had a ton of armadillos in our yard. A ton of armadillos. We had a whole family of armadillos.
Now, is that something like, do the gators eat those, or how does that work?
I don't know. I don't think anything eats an armadillo. Their shell. I mean, I've run over armadillos before, and it's like hitting a speed bump. Their shells are so hard.
What is harder, an armadillo or a turtle?
Probably a turtle, but armadillo's right up there. So we had a whole family. When we lived in Ocala, we lived in kind of the woods, and we had a whole family of armadillos that lived in the woods around us. And I used to go out with my friends at night, and we would go out with the flashlights and try to root them up and shake them up and get them running around.
So just to recap, your brother was an asshole to gators, and you were an asshole to armadillos?
Yeah, armadillos can't hurt you. So it's
okay. So the moment something can't hurt you, you're just like, I'm gonna bully this.
Well, I mean, not like if it's an armadillo, sure. You can't hurt me. I've never bullied you.
You bully me all the time. You bully. Mikey Two Milk says my cock is pretty hard. If we're talking about what's harder, that's weird. I don't know why crocodiles and armadillos got yourself erect there, Mikey. I would get a doctor, I guess. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna kink shame you, man. I'm just glad you're happy.
It makes me uncomfortable because it's my picture that's up on the screen.
Well, yeah, of course it is, man. Look at that that brew. Yeah. I keep switching back to my face though. It's probably the combination.
It's all good. Leave it on you.
Let's navigate you back into the realm of wrestling, which is what I wanted to talk to you about, right? Let's just because I like to do this as a base, right? What's your top 5?
My top 5 what?
Wrestlers.
Wrestlers? Right now?
All time.
All time. Randy Macho Man Savage.
Okay, so that one rattled off quick. Is that your favorite of all time?
Him and Piper, yeah.
Really?
I mean, those are my two. If I'm putting together a Drew's Mount Rushmore of all time wrestlers, just because, and not like because I think they're the best of all time.
They're just your favorite.
The ones that impacted me the most, the ones that I loved watching the most.
Why are those two the ones that impacted you the most?
I mean, I was a kid, and I was getting into it. Roddy Piper was, the Piper's Pit, his promos, his talking, he was funny, he was vicious, he was mean, he was intimidating. I mean, you believed everything he said. Yeah. Whether he was playing heel, whether he was playing face, you believed everything he said and did. So that was my favorite when I was a kid growing up. Randy Macho Man Savage came along, and I was never like the big Hogan fan. Right. I liked him. Great. I'm a kid. He's the big American hero and all that. But I was ready to stop watching Hogan in the main events, and that's when Randy Savage came along, and they did the whole Mega Powers thing. And they
Hogan, I'm coming for you.
That's right. And I loved it. I loved every little bit of it.
So one of my favorites is The Undertaker. And, everybody picks The Undertaker, and that's fine. But the reason I got into The Undertaker as a kid is because the first time I saw him, he pile drove Hulk Hogan through a chair. And I was like, fuck yeah, this guy rules.
Yeah, Undertaker was badass. I was a little old when The Undertaker came along to really buy into the gimmick. So it didn't, hit with me as much as it did for a lot of other people.
Well, how old are you?
47.
Okay. So about 10 years different. That's exactly it. Cause I was prime age for The Undertaker, right? It just fucking rolls his stupid eyes back. You hear the gong. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then he comes out and he fucking pile drives a dude that just tells me to pray and eat vitamins. I'm fucking in.
Yes.
And he has a
all
creepy
day.
ass weird fucking mortician following him around. Into that.
And he helped Ric Flair win the title too when he did that.
Not a big Ric Flair fan. Hot take.
No, I like Ric Flair. But
No, I said me.
When
That's
Oh.
that's my hot take. I kind of hate Ric Flair, and everybody hates that about me. And it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you have opinions where you know they're wrong. Like, because for me, I just like I got exposed to some old AWA tapes when I was a kid, and then some older stuff there. And I actually saw Buddy Rogers before I saw Ric Flair. And if you don't know who the natural Buddy Rogers is, you go in there and you watch him, and like Ric Flair lifted everything. Not that lifting doesn't happen in wrestling. It does. I get that. But this dude, I mean, like, even the Nature Boy was a fucking, like, he went by Nature Boy one of the times. He did the woos. I mean, like, it was all down. Like, they looked identical. Their moves were identical. It's just like, and
Ric
I get
Flair
like,
was a better Buddy Rogers than Buddy Rogers was. That's what it really ended up being. He was better at being that character than Buddy Rogers was. That's why he ended up making it bigger. But you're absolutely right. Buddy Rogers was huge. He was over. His gimmick was over, but it was territorial. So, like, if a gimmick worked in the AWA, the people that, you know, that were in the NWA and the Crockett promotions down in the Carolinas and Georgia, they had no idea about it. The fans had no idea about it. So there was nothing wrong or nothing unusual about, like, hey, this Nature Boy gimmick is a big deal in the AWA. Yeah. Let's give it to Ric Flair. Let's let him run with it down here in the NWA.
And I get that, but it just takes something away from it for me.
Sure, but Hulk Hogan was superstar Billy Graham.
Hulk Hogan is literally the worst wrestler ever, though. Like, we can all agree on that. Like, no, I'm saying, like what he did for wrestling is bigger than almost anybody else. But of everybody that gets mentioned in the GOAT category, he was by far the worst technical wrestler of all of them. I mean, his fucking finishing move is a leg drop, for God's sake. Shut the fuck up with that.
But that's the thing, and that's the thing that's good to remember about wrestling. Like, it's great to be a good wrestler, but that's not the job. The job is to get the crowd engaged in your character and your match. That's it.
Well, and I think for me, that's why, like, my top four does that and are good wrestlers always for me.
Yeah.
And yours too. I'm not saying yours aren't. Like Macho Man and Rowdy were great wrestlers. You know, like my Mount Rushmore, like my first two, like Mick Foley's my number one. I mean, if I had a gun against my head, I'd probably, just to be an asshole, be like, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Sacco. Mount Rushmore, suck it.
Man, well, you forgot Mankind.
Yeah, Mankind doesn't even make it.
He's not even on your Mount Rushmore.
No, well, like, because Dude Love makes it on just to piss off. No, Dude Love makes it in just to piss off Mick Foley. Should he ever see this list, like Sacco and Dude Love make it on, but Mankind don't. When in reality, that's Mankind funny. Is probably second to Cactus Jack.
That's really funny. That's really funny. I remember Ricky Steamboat. I got to put him up there,
Ricky the Steamboat Dragon?
Yeah, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because he was like my Hulk Hogan when I was a kid. He was the guy that was the white meat baby face that I just loved watching his matches. I always rooted for him. Whenever Jake the Snake Roberts or Don Morocco or Randy Savage, you know, would tie him up in the ropes, beat the crap out of him, or hit him with the ring bell, whatever. Yeah, all the great angles that he was involved with, man. That tore me up as a kid because I rooted for him so hard. I remember watching a Morocco Steamboat match live in Miami, and my buddy Chris Natuno, after the match, Morocco bladed. He was all bloodied up, and he's walking out the aisle to the back. And my buddy Chris Natuno reaches over the aisle and actually smacks him right in the forehead, right where he's all bladed up. And security came, grabbed him, and all I knew was he was gone. He went to the back, and I didn't see him.
You're gone, asshole.
I didn't see him again.
Oh, that's so fucking good.
I thought he went back there and got his ass kicked.
That reminds me of the time I got kicked out of a Gwar concert.
How do you get kicked out of a Gwar concert? What do you have to do to offend the audience in a Gwar concert so much that
it's not the audience, it's you punch a bouncer in the mouth.
Well, that'll do it.
So me and my buddies are at Gwar, right? And I'm drunk as hell, I think I was even on mushrooms or something. I was not in a good place. And but I was having fun, you know. And I ran into a buddy of mine that always wanted to go to a Gwar concert but never had. And so I'm like, you've never been to a Gwar concert? Come on, we're getting you to the front row. And I started grabbing people by the shoulders and just throwing them behind me as I weasel me and him up. And this one dude goes, hey, dude, what the fuck? And he pushes me. and I turn around and just cold cock him and drop him just in time to see the fucking first half security jacket as 4 people rush me and just absolutely work me over on their way to kicking me out. And this is the best.
God.
This is the best part, right? It's fucking November, right? So it's ice cold. Everybody I know is inside. This is before I even had a cell phone. So I basically just get to lay in a pile of my own blood, listening to Guar through the fucking wall while my friends enjoy a concert. So I have to wait till they're done to get home. And the best part was I got kicked out during the first act. So I didn't even get to fucking see Guar.
That's great.
No, it's fucking garbage.
That's fantastic.
So, all right. So you got Ricky the Steamboat.
I got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I got Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yep.
I got Roddy Piper.
One more.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ooh, all right.
And Bobby Heenan.
There's only 4 people on Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
Or did I
sorry.
say top
All
5?
right.
I might have said top 5. I'm just going to change. Look, man, I asked for your favorite wrestler, and now you're giving me 5. What the fuck?
You said top 5.
I know. I'm fucking with you. Did you? Bobby the Brain Heenan? Really?
Yes, of course.
I feel like he was a better commentator and manager than he ever was a wrestler, though.
Yeah, he was. He was never a good wrestler, but he was the best commentator and the best manager this business has ever seen.
He was the best commentator. I don't know if he was the best manager, though.
Name a better one.
Who could get Jimmy Hart?
Who could get people over? Who could get people?
Jimmy Hart, the mouth of the South, baby.
No, man. Jimmy Hart managed a few tag teams and Hulk Hogan. That's about it. Bobby the Brain Heenan got people over, but got people over that had no business getting over. He got King Kong.
What about Paul Heyman?
Over. Paul Heyman's incredible. Paul Heyman's amazing, but
yeah.
I still rank Bobby the Brain Heenan above him.
But you think Heenan is so good that you would put him up there above other wrestlers? I mean, even though he did wrestle, but I'm just saying, like, yeah.
For me, for my top 5, for the people that made me the fan that I am, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody in chat wants to know your opinion on that bitch, Carol Baskins.
Carol Baskin killed her husband.
Have you listened to the bonus podcast on that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude. So if you go Tiger King, Joe Exotic, there's a podcast that's like a companion to the Netflix show. And it's just all the like loose end shit that they weren't able to tie in. Like, cause they basically ended up getting way more than they thought they were going to get anyways.
Yeah.
But that's like fucking hilarious. And so my top 5 or Mount Rushmore, right, is like, you got to have Hulk Hogan in there because of what he did. But, like, I don't want him in there as a wrestler. But if we're doing that, that's fine. But, like, my favorite is Mick Foley. Mick Foley's a first-time ballot for me. Undertaker's up there. One of the people that I don't feel gets his due a lot is Shawn Michaels.
I think Shawn Michaels gets his due quite well. I mean, he's one of the best of all time. He's one of the greatest of all time.
But he was like
performers.
What he did with Generation X, like the thing about Generation X that people don't really talk about is like that was basically a cover band for a struggling promotion at the time. And what they did with it is they ran with it, and they did it in some aspects better than the WCW did NWO. But like, I don't know how you sell so hard a concept that you're just straight ripping from the competition. It's just, it's epic. I haven't seen that kind of shit since Demolition, bro.
That's a good pull. That's a very good pull. The thing about DX that I think a lot of people miss is that was mostly supposed to be the vehicle to get Triple H over. They wanted to make a star out of Triple H, but they were really struggling with it. You know, he wasn't getting over in any of his gimmicks until, you know, he buddied up with Michaels. He buddied up with Nash and Hall. They got the click thing going, and that was what D-Generation X was born out of. It was more born out of the click, and NWO was born out of the click. So you can really say that whole, Sean Waltman, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Michaels, and Triple H, that little core group had a lot to do with both of those companies being successful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, and I think it's very easy to say with confidence that Triple H might go down as one of the most important people in WWE history, just because, I mean, and you and I have talked about this, I'm more into the independent and lower ones now because I don't like the WWE product.
Mm-hmm. Same.
It just bores me. I mean, like, I can only watch Roman Reigns wrestle Brock Lesnar so many times before I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I mean, if fucking Wyatt and fucking Lesnar were gone, I wouldn't even watch. I really believe that.
It's tough to watch right now, and it has been tough to watch.
And
for a while.
NXT is so electric, and it's got so much juice behind it. It's like I feel bad whenever somebody leaves NXT because it's like, God damn it, that sucks. Because now they're gonna go somewhere, they're gonna get a shittier story, they're gonna get no juice, and like they're just gonna fade into obscurity. You know?
That's kind of the formula, and it's all Vince McMahon, right? NXT is good because it doesn't have Vince McMahon's fingerprints all over it. Raw and SmackDown and the rest of the WWE product, everything flows through Vince, and they're still. I mean, if you write for the WWE or if you book for the WWE, you're booking for Vince. You're booking to try to get things over with him, not the audience. And you see the results of that. You see how stale the product has gotten. Vince McMahon is old and out of touch, and he needs to stop having all of the content filter through him.
Yeah. Everybody in here is talking about Stone Cold and John Cena.
Yeah.
Somebody said, no Andre the Giant, this list is bullshit. I'll tell you, you want to hear a hot take on Stone Cold that everybody's going to get mad at me for in this chat room? No, you ready? Are you ready?
Go for it. Yeah.
Nobody on this planet is a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin. What everyone's a fan of is how good Vince McMahon was as a heel.
That is a hot take that I do not agree with.
Right. I told you it was going to make people mad.
It's a hot take.
When Vince McMahon went to go be the bad guy, the whole idea of beating up your boss, I believe that any baby face that was in the position of Stone Cold would have risen to, I mean, unless they, like, anybody that was talented, you know what I mean? Like, there's a degree of people that just can have all the breaks, but they don't have it. You know what I mean? He clearly had it. I'm not trying to belittle him like that, but I'm just saying, like, all of the epic things that are Stone Cold Stone Austin was more about the fact that he was actually beating up on his boss, and who the fuck doesn't want to punch their boss?
Yeah. I mean, they tapped in. That's the thing. When wrestling is great, when wrestling gets hot like that, it's because they tap into something that the culture wants, right? You know, when it was the 80s, they wanted the all-American, good guy, white meat.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They tap into something that the culture is looking for. And
in the 70s and 80s, they wanted some kind of weird circus oddity, and you get Andre the Giant. No, you're absolutely fucking right. That's crazy.
And we haven't had that happen since the NWO and the DX and the Stone Cold, that era. The NWO, DX, Stone Cold, and The Rock, they all hit certain buttons that people were looking for, and they haven't been able to recreate that. The closest they've come is John Cena. But John Cena was never anywhere near the type of draw that Hogan, Rock, or Stone Cold was.
Dude, John Cena, another guy I think just super overrated. I really just like, I think John Cena's entry music is better than almost anything he's done as a wrestler. Like, that's just, he just doesn't do anything. Like, you can't come out talking about the troops and wearing jean shorts every fucking time and expect me to care about you. Sorry.
Yeah, the thing about John Cena is what you would get if you created an algorithm to try to create a big star professional wrestler. It would spit out John Cena. Like, he had all of the right elements, right? But he never connected emotionally with the audience the way the other big stars did.
And that's why I like to make a big argument for The Undertaker as GOAT, just because not only was his commitment and love of the fans so big, but his gimmick was so strong it got two other people over immediately. Just by being like Mankind, like that Hell in the Cell thing is that, like, that'll be replayed forever. I mean, that is one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. And then you have Kane, who is a spin-off that, like, he had no background story of any kind, and he's already over because he's attached to one of the greatest gimmicks ever.
Yep, that's the example I was going to use, what he did with Kane. Because Kane, Glenn Jacobs, I love Glenn Jacobs.
Isaac Yankem was good. People forget, man, that was funny.
But he's never been a particularly good wrestler, and he's never been a particularly good promo. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of the skills that you would expect someone to have to get as big as he did. But he did because of the gimmick. And the gimmick was a spin-off of The Undertaker. It was like, you know, Undertaker was Cheers, Kane was Frazier.
Yeah. Did that just fucking happen? Did that just fucking happen? Did you just, oh no! Oh no, big man, you did not just spew that shit around here. How dare you? Nobody likes Frazier.
Are you kidding me? Are we going to fight about Frazier now?
Oh, that's right. I forget that you're a man of a certain age. No, sorry. I didn't mean to speak ill about Frazier or fucking Coach, which is another fight we'll probably get into.
I'm not gonna die on the Coach hill.
Yeah, I will go to battle for Frazier, but ain't nobody dying on that Coach hill. I'm a Louis Vuitton guy. Fuck your Coach.
That's right. So yeah, man.
The listeners in chat have stopped listening to us, and now they're talking about China's pornography.
You okay?
It was called One Night in China. That's true. That's what they're talking about.
That is not a subject I can speak eloquently on.
Have you ever seen it?
God, no.
Don't lie to me.
No, I'm
Dude,
not.
her clitoris is the size of a small penis. Because
Okay.
that's what steroids do to women.
All right.
I just want you
That's
to think
good.
about it for a second.
I'm. You know what? I'm envisioning it.
Okay, here we go. Just close your eyes. This is your moment of zen.
Oh man.
Just breathe in.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
And just imagine.
No, you know what? I'm good, man.
Come on, dude.
China's clitoris is not a thing that I need to really spend a whole lot of time worrying about.
Ain't
She's
nobody
dead anyway.
ain't nobody believing you on that, man.
Well, she's dead anyway, so.
Is she? Oh yeah, she is. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Why don't you
I didn't.
speak
I
ill
didn't.
of the dead
Hey, I
clitoris?
didn't mean to speak ill of a dead clitoris. All right.
The dead clitori.
I tried it. Yeah. Wait, you had two? I mean, it was big enough to be two. It's like how everybody plurals my last name as Adams.
I did that for like a year.
I know you did. I never corrected you either because I had respect.
That's not true. You corrected me on the air.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that much respect. I let it go 2 or 3 times, and then I was like, nah, bitch, nah.
This is the first time we had you on the show.
Yeah, but it was the 3rd time you butchered my name in the same show.
Oh, and I put it in promos and everything too. So.
Oh, good. Well, you know, at least I garnish a certain amount of respect, I guess. Also, if you go into the Twitch, Mikey just posted a link to it, so everybody can watch it now. So if you're curious, this is now your Pandora box, Drew. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying it's out there for you. She also did one that was like a fake wrestling thing, where she dressed up as She-Hulk. You ever seen She-Hulk get banged with her tiny little... What?
How do you know all this?
Because I get drunk and watch weird shit, man. You don't even want to know the cacophony of weird that is my fucking browser history, all right? Like, you want to go into pterodactyl porn? That's something that exists. Google that. My favorite new weird thing, though, and it's not even that obscene, it's just weird because the Japanese are fucking nuts, right? There is a category of porn called balloon popping porn, right?
Okay.
And it's this whole thing, and if you type in balloon popping porn, you'll find it, and it's literally these ladies inflate this balloon, and then they rub their pussy with it till it pops, and then they let out the like stereotypical like Japanese like oh ho ho like scream that all the like furries are into or whatever, and that like it's a big industry. It's everywhere.
That's awesome. I thought we were talking about wrestling.
We were. So back to it. The other person, my final in the 5, right? So I've got Mick Foley, I've got Undertaker, right? I got Shawn Michaels.
All right.
Like Hulk Hogan I'm putting in there, but just like out of importance. I don't want him in there. But I just like I don't see a way that wrestling is where it like I don't know of a single person in my lifetime that I can point to them definitively and say wrestling would not be here if not for that guy.
Vince McMahon, dude.
No, Vince, and I talked about that with Stone Cold. Is that I honestly think I was going to address that afterwards, but I stuck it in there. But I mean, you
got to go back even farther. You got to go to that national expansion that he did in the '80s. You got to go to him.
The first XFL.
No, I'm talking about the WWF in the '80s when he decided that when he identified cable syndication as that opportunity to get WWF into all of these other territories,
right? And
he did it before anybody else. I mean, that changed wrestling more than anything.
Well, and then he bought up all the promotions as he went by and buried them.
Yeah, he did. He destroyed all the promotions.
I mean, that's the thing that always stuck out to me with Vince McMahon is it's not even. I mean. You know, you're looking at like late 90s, early 2000s where he literally bought up everyone that was a decent competitor to him. Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
he bought up. He
ECW, WCW. I mean, those were the two juggernauts next to them. And he's like, what if I buy? It's like the UFC. Or the NFL when the NFL bought the AFL or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing isn't so my fifth one, and I think if I'm honest, Hulk Hogan wouldn't be on there. But it's so important to the like direction it went. I mean, he's the guy that like he was in a fucking Rocky movie, for God's sakes.
That's pretty much what made me a fan.
That's what I'm saying.
I
It's
mean,
like he made it like pro wrestling until Hogan was like this sideshow carnival thing. It was still entertaining, but it was on the fringe. He's the one that brought it into the mainstream. You know what I mean? Like he was doing movies, and they were terrible movies. I mean, Suburban Commando is watchable, but that's about it. Don't even bother yourself with trying to rewatch Tropic Thunder.
Oh no, you're confusing me. The Tropic Thunder wasn't Hogan.
Oh, sorry, Thunder in Paradise. My bad. You're right.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
With Sting.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
and there were Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, there were like Bash, like he was the one that broke it in. He's the one that made it like rock star cool to be a wrestler. And that is a trajectory that like all promotions, even the smaller ones now, are benefiting from. Because there's this like mystique star power behind it where there was not before that.
He was the first wrestler to become a mainstream star.
Yes.
I mean, that's really like the simplest way to put it. Like they would have never considered having a pro wrestler host Saturday Night Live before Hulk Hogan came around.
And now they've had like 4 or 5 of them.
Right, exactly.
And then my other one that's like in there, and I went back and I watched some of his promos like recently, and I just think we all have fucking forgot from whence he came is the fucking Rock. Like, when The Rock was on the mic in his prime, I don't know that anyone was ever funnier.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, like, when he was, like, fucking, like, Undertaker, come on down here with your 7-pound head. Roll your eyes in the back of your head and go, ngong, ngong, nah, dead man, get down here. You know, jabroni and fucking, like, it was just, like, there was... And
here's the thing about The Rock that you can really look at is you can look at most wrestlers and you can, like we were talking about with Ric Flair, you can say, all right, you can see the roots in Buddy Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Hulk Hogan, you can see the roots in superstar Billy Graham. You can't really say that about The Rock, though. Like, you can't look at The Rock and go, oh, yeah, he took that promo style or he took that wrestling style.
You know what the interesting part of that is? Because you're absolutely right. But the interesting part about that is that when he first came out, they were trying to make him be his dad. You know, he was marketed as Rocky Maivia Jr. And he was like, he was going to be out there and he was going to be this and that. And it's like, not only did he not lift this
smiling blue chipper.
Right. And not only did he not steal that, like he had the Big Show was like that too. When they first introduced him, they were like trying to make like him related to the Giant, you know? People forget about that in WCW when he had like the new Giant or whatever.
He was Andre the Giant's kid.
That's what I'm saying. Right. And like The Rock, like not only like he didn't even reject his gimmick, he was just bigger than it. And the more they tried to make him adhere to that gimmick, the more he didn't, and the more popular it became. Till eventually they're like, "All right, you better just go out there and ask what The Rock is cooking because they fucking want that." Mm-hmm. And like watching him call people jabronis, and you know, you want to talk about just like one of the most crucial pins in the Attitude Era. Wrestling doesn't get a chance to go forward. Like what they're doing, you know what I mean? Like you don't go forward on that level without that.
Right. Yeah, no, and Vince McMahon totally lucked into that too. I mean, he totally lucked into that. The Rock is a good example of somebody that made his own fame. Like he got famous despite all of the crap that Vince McMahon and WWE were trying to make him do. Yep. It wasn't until he started being himself when they did the Nation of Domination gimmick, and he was able to actually cut promos without a script and just do the eyebrow and be the cool Rock. That's what got him over, and that wasn't Vince McMahon. And it's the same thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Vince McMahon's idea for him was the ringmaster, and he was Ted DiBiase's protege.
I remember that. Wasn't he also like stunning Steve Austin in WCW?
Yep, he was stunning Steve Austin.
And that was just basically a retread of Ric Flair at that point because he was coming out with all the Ric Flair shit.
Yeah, he had the robe, he had the blonde hair and all that. Yep. He was trying to get him over with that formula. He had a great tag team in WCW with Brian Pillman, the Hollywood Blondes. They were fantastic.
Brian Pillman, like that dude never really got over himself, but he could put everyone else over.
He would have gotten over if he wasn't so unstable. Like, you know, but here's a funny story about Brian Pillman. He worked WCW into firing him. Like, he wanted to get released from WCW so bad, and he wanted to go work for WWF, that he worked Eric Bischoff into releasing him, saying that it was a gimmick, that they were going to put one over on the boys. So they started running with this gimmick, and Brian Pillman was like, no, if you want this to work, you have to actually release me to make it work. And they bought it, and they released him, expecting him to re-sign and come back. But he just went and signed with WWF. He gave him the middle finger.
That's the best. That's kind of what Dean Ambrose did too.
A little bit.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, not the same parameters, but he was all like, no, you need to release me, and then just middle finger him out. But, you know, John Moxley, actually, this is kind of interesting. I think you'll enjoy this a lot. One of our listeners said, I don't know what's the deal with WWE right now. Whoops, hold on. Where'd it go? There it goes. I don't know what the deal is with WWE right now. They bring in indie wrestlers that they want to brought in over right now. Then they suppress their style, tell them how to act. We and the wrestlers go running back to the indies and the new indie-friendly AEW. Yeah, no, I will tell you, and this is Drew can vouch for this. I brought Drew to an indie wrestling event. I have been saying probably, like, Drew, since I've known you, probably I've been telling you that I believe the indie circuit is way better than the main products. I mean, I was a big Ring of Honor guy before AEW poached them to death.
Mm-hmm.
And
AEW in New Japan, yeah.
Yeah, and AEW is really good. I like AEW a lot. I like their product a lot. But, I mean, for my money, I still, like, nothing gets me as big as, like, the local faction of WrestlePalooza, of First Wrestling, and all the local stuff. I mean, the indie level is where people are still passionate about it. They'll let them do whatever they want. You know, the WWE, and this is largely because of Vince. That's the thing nobody talks about, is that when Vince dies, Hunter Hearst Helmsley will take over everything, and everything will be as good as NXT, because that's the thing he's running right now.
Yeah. And NXT is pretty much a ripoff of PWG. I mean, when you talk about, you know, the indies, PWG is like the,
what
you know,
is
it's
PWG? I don't think I even know that one.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They're based out of California. That's where, like, Ricochet, Adam Cole, Gargano, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, I mean, they all have come through there. So many great names have come through PWG. But it's not a, you can't get it on television. It's like, they don't do pay-per-views. They don't do anything. Their shows are just legendary, right? They all sell out. They're in these tiny little arenas, and it's probably some of the best wrestling happening in the entire world, every show that they do. But they don't have a TV program. They don't have any of that stuff, and they don't even want it. That's not their business. But if you watch PWG matches, PWG style matches, NXT is ripping them off almost beat for beat. I mean, they're hiring all the same, you know, they're hiring the PWG stars, and then they're putting on PWG cards. Those NXT takeovers are basically, they're formatted almost exactly like PWG cards.
That's crazy.
You would love it. I mean, if you can get your hands on some shows.
I'm gonna have to look into that. That's really crazy.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find some shows. I'll put them in that Plex for you.
Sure. Mikey just said last time I watched wrestling, Razor Ramon was a thing.
Yeah, Razor Ramon, the Cuban bad guy from Miami.
Can honestly tell you I haven't watched wrestling since 2002. I think a lot of people checked out when the Attitude Era started to wind down, because where the product went after that, especially on the mainstream, wasn't that good. And they, you know, the thing that always bothered me was they bought out ECW and then they didn't learn or incorporate anything except for tables.
I know.
Like, because they had, I mean, like that year before ECW folded, that was one of the coolest products ever. I mean, like Rob Van Dam doing like multiple flips off a turnbuckle onto a bunch of tables. Like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, everything gets watered down. I mean, and especially now. You know, that's why nobody can get over. You know, like, everybody on WWE has the character depth of every character in the Star Wars prequels. There's just nothing there to really grab onto.
Well, and the thing is that everything is like trying to tie, like, they have all these things that are trying to tie into like yesteryear rather than work for new gimmicks, you know? I mean, I think that's why The Fiend is so popular, is because that's the only thing that even smells like a fresh gimmick this side of 2008 for WWE.
And what did they do with The Fiend?
Ruined him.
They do with The Fiend?
Ruined him.
Goldberg beat him. They had Goldberg. So you talk about, you know, relying on names from the past. I mean, is there a better example? You got this hot new act coming up, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. It's unique. It's unusual. People are into it. People are digging it. And then you just fed it to Goldberg and killed it.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like, to me, and you and I talked about this briefly before, but I think one of the real turning points for wrestling, and I'm glad that the indie doesn't, like, the indie circuit doesn't do this as much, but we're in the era where a finishing move has to be applied 5 times before it's a finish.
Right.
And I think that hurts it. When you have this one, I mean, like, you're talking back in the day with, like, Jerry the King, like, fucking, you know, a pile driver was borderline illegal. Look at Jake the Snake. A DDT, like, almost got him suspended. Not only was the match over, but that person might go to jail. Now it's, like, 7 fucking, like, tombstone pile drivers, and we may see a tap out.
Yep. They don't protect a whole lot of finishes anymore. Except for, well, that's WWE, though, right? You look at AEW, and what's Jericho's? Jericho has gotten a back elbow over as a finisher in AEW because they protect it. They, you know, you can do whatever you want, right? It's a stupid back elbow. It doesn't even look that good, but Jericho's managed to get it over as a finisher because they sell it.
Right.
It's not hard. It's not a complicated formula. You want something to get over, you just keep doing it, and the fans will eventually buy it.
Right. They have no choice. So
Jericho's amazing, though. I mean, if there's ever going to be, you know, a Mount Rushmore, I think Jericho's going to end up on it at some point. That guy.
I like how you're advocating for a guy that didn't even make your top 5.
But he doesn't get enough credit for what he's done. The guy's been over in every
promotion. How do you feel he doesn't
get
enough credit for what he's done? I feel like all we do is suck his dick.
What are you talking about? We haven't even. This is the first time he's been brought up on this conversation.
What just
Am I
happened?
distracting you?
No, you cut out. Go ahead.
I said this is the first time he's been brought up in this conversation.
Yeah, I know, but like, just because we're disrespecting him doesn't mean like he's not. I don't know. I think that he's overly praised for a lot of it. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think I just always hated him, and I'm mad that I was wrong about it.
That's fair. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody who is able to get over as in different eras, in different promotions, in different gimmicks, in different characters. I mean, it's crazy what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so here's my argument to that, right? I think the reason why you don't see that is because we were, like, for all time before that, we were in eras where your giant stars didn't jump promotions. And the only reason Jericho's been able to get over and over again is because he keeps jumping promotions, so he becomes the hot commodity that gets over. Like, I don't think that if he had stayed in WWE the whole time, we'd be talking about the 3rd or 4th regeneration of his career. I just don't believe that. But his instrumental pieces of how he put together AEW and helped Cody and all that shit, that gets mentioned too, you know? I think, like, I just think for me, if your finishing move is a move where you're tapping somebody out, I'm out. I'm here to suspend disbelief. You fucking kill a man. You don't make a, like, you're watching people get hit by trucks, but they're fucking tapping out to a Boston Crab. Get fucked.
Oh, you would hate Zack Sabre Jr. then. Don't watch any Zack Sabre Jr. matches.
I won't. Fuck him. Does he do a Boston Crab? Get fucked, dude. Oh, man. Oh, God. I'm the toughest warrior ever. You're bending my legs the way they're supposed to be. Better tap out. Get fucked. Maybe that's why I hate Ric Flair so much. I do hate Bret Hart. I hate everybody with a fucking... Except for, like, the crossface chicken wing. That's just fucking rad.
Remember Benoit's crossface?
Crossface crippler?
Yeah. Remember his finisher, his submission? That was badass.
Well, yeah, but his finisher took out his family, right?
Oh, no. That was his ultimate finisher. That one didn't get over so well.
I'm surprised they didn't kick out from that. I mean, in the new era, right?
Oh my God.
Is that the one? Is that the one that went too far?
Have you ever watched The Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, I just finished those up. Like, I really love how they segmented it in 2 parts where they talk about, I mean, this guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer if it doesn't go down like that.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. He was incredible.
Can we all agree that Kurt Angle was the worst wrestler of all time?
No, we cannot. We cannot all agree on that.
That's not me. That's from the chat.
I love Kurt Angle.
You know, I gotta say I never did like Kurt Angle, but he came around like I came around on him towards like the last 5-6 years. Like when he fucked up himself and then worked himself into back working again when his neck was fused, I was like, this guy's fucking crazy.
NME 35, he nailed it. Zack Sabre is a super technical wrestler. He will twist people into pretzels, and you will believe while they are tapping. One of the best matches that I've watched in the last few years was a Rev Pro main event, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Will Ospreay. Anytime those two wrestle each other, it's art, man. Those guys are
Send me
incredible.
a link of that. I'll watch it. I mean, like, here's the thing. If this guy could tap out in a way that I believe it, like, dude, I will sing his fucking heralds. But so far, only that old Asian dude that did the tarantula can do that for me.
I'm gonna send you a couple because it's all in my Plex. There's two. I'll send you a couple of timestamps to look up some matches in my Plex.
Mikey Tubelk says Rob Gronkowski is the worst wrestler of all time.
Somebody says Brock Lesnar was worse. You got to watch that Brock Lesnar Kurt Angle WrestleMania match, man.
I think the thing about Brock
together.
Yeah.
God, they were so good together.
I think the thing about Brock Lesnar that people don't give him enough credit is how much better he became on the fly. Plus, like, I don't know, all the story about him throwing real punches into that. I love a guy that throws stiff punches.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's stiff as hell, man. He busted Randy open up the hard way in a nasty, nasty way.
Who was that guy that he almost killed in the ring? Was it Strom? Strowman.
Bob Holly?
Strowman. No, Strowman.
Was it Strowman?
Yes.
I don't know.
Braun Strowman, right?
Brock Lesnar almost killed himself in the ring. He tried to do a moonsault on Kurt Angle and landed square on his head.
Yeah, well, but I'm telling you, like, Google Lesnar Strowman, and they've got, like, everybody's got these accounts of it, but, like, the dude, like, Strowman wanted to slap him in the face in the match, and McMahon said it was okay, and Lesnar said, no, I'm not doing that, and Vince goes, you'll do what I say, and then he stormed off, right? And Lesnar looked at him, and he said, if you slap me, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. And then in the match, the dude slapped him, and Brock, like, you can watch the replay, he throws two fucking absolute scorchers of punches coming from a former UFC heavyweight champion. So they're not just, like, average punches.
No. Brock Lesnar doesn't do anything average.
I also think Brock Lesnar's finishing move is super underrated. That thing's really fun.
Yeah, it's a great move. It looks fantastic. I mean, it doesn't actually look like it hurts that much when you really watch it, but the way he pulls it off and the fact that he's so big and he can do it on the Big Show and he can do it on anybody, it looks great.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Well, you send me some fucking Sabre shit. I'm gonna move on with the show. Thank you so much for calling in, man. I really appreciate it. Why don't you give yourself a little plug again one more time? Let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, Justice and Drew is the name of the show. It's on Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. You can find it on iHeartRadio. Just search Twin Cities News Talk. We're on Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. And my other show is the Minnesota Beer Cast. You can also find that on the iHeartRadio app as well. Just search Minnesota Beer Cast or Justice and Drew. I
said one promo, you greedy fuck. Jesus, we get it. Life's so good. You have multiple things to promote. What an asshole. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I really do appreciate it.
Can I give out my Venmo?
Yeah, of course. It's Corey Adam Comedy.
Yes, Corey Adam Comedy. That's my Venmo.
Everybody's saying bye, Drew. Bye, Drew. Bye, Drew.
All right, later. Thanks for having
buddy.
me.
Thank you so much for doing it, man. We'll have you back again to talk more fake fisticuffs.
Anytime, brother.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Later.
All right. That was Drew Lee. Buddy of mine, super good guy. Freaky Deaky, if you type in exclamation point by Tom as one word, that'll fucking come in. We're just going to jump right into the next guy. I've had him in a holding pattern, and he's actually in here watching, which is super cool. So we're just going to jump right in. Hello. Oh, the rare callback. That's pretty nice. I like that. All right, let's Sometimes this shit gets weird, you guys. Just how we have to face it. I'm gonna resize this. Give that a second. Ryan, if you're there, I will call you right back. Give me 1 second, buddy. Yeah, maybe I called him on the shitter. There we go.
Yo.
What up? Tell your other eye devices to shut the fuck up.
Tell your other eye devices.
Whoa! Oh my God! Ah! That didn't work. Hello? Did he leave? Oh man, lost him again. Good old Facebook ruining my life since whatever the fuck. Here we go. We're gonna do this again. Yeah, that was super Inception like, right? That got a little crazy. I have to call you, Ryan. Here we go.
You got it.
Yes, do you got it? No. Damn it. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yo.
All right, turn down the volume of your Twitch.
Oh yeah, it's totally muted now.
There you go. Hey, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Identify yourself to the listeners.
I am Ryan Waterbury. Yeah, that's my mugshot. Look at that. Man, it's been a few years since that was taken. A little more gray in the beard these days, but
That's all right.
you know, hey, it happens to all of us. We get a little older.
God willing, right?
Yeah.
How you been, buddy?
Hey, been doing good, but you know, this whole lockdown thing has not been good for my business, my clients.
Yeah,
businesses.
that's actually what I want to talk to you about. Like, for those that don't know you, which is probably most people, Ryan and I met while doing some stuff for Gary Johnson, and he's a very big minarchist in libertarians clothing, I guess I would call him.
Yeah.
Small government, big solutions. I wanted to actually talk to you today about just like some political stuff, but mainly some of the shit that's been going on, because like there's some fucking terrifying shit happening amidst all this COVID shit. And I'm not even talking about the virus, right? Because
No,
I mean that fucking shit with Walls, where I mean I think you even commented on it, but like for those of you that don't know, Government Walls ordered that the Minnesota Department of Health give law enforcement the addresses of people who are contagious after testing positive for COVID-19, and the data will be available to dispatchers. Being a 911 dispatcher, of course, only takes like a month or two of training.
Yeah, I mean that's really alarming. I mean, you know, when you go back a couple of years and you have the lawsuit of that attractive blonde policeman that was getting her license looked up hundreds of times, and you know, it's easy to abuse that, I would say, privilege in this certain scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but like, the questions that I have, and I wanted to get your feedback on this, is that a lot of the numbers have been dipping down, and they're lower than what the estimates are. Now, obviously, people for it are going to say, oh, the social distancing is working, but the decline is in areas where they're not necessarily following that. So, like, why is everybody just, because, like, to me, putting people on a list seems like a bad idea.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at let's just talk about the public shaming out there. And
they have a narc line, Ryan. They have a line where you're supposed to call in to narc on your neighbors for being outside.
Exactly. I mean, this whole scenario right here reminds me of a rerun of, right coming up to the last century. We've got a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The market's been propped up with fake dollars forever, and
people don't understand that all money is fiat.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The core of my business is marketing, and for the past year and a half, I mean, we've seen some ups and downs, but this last holiday season has been one of the worst consumer spending seasons as far as consumer dollars, but the marketing dollars. And that's the first tip.
Mikey Two Milks wants to know if this guy believes in the constitutional right to carry.
Oh, absolutely.
And does he believe in carrying without a permit?
Yeah, that's one of the things the Constitution is a nice piece of paper, but you're all seeing what's happening right now. Government's ignoring that.
Well,
So,
tell people, because I mean, I really always found you like here's some background, and I always tell people about this, and I think I've told you this before, but I don't even know if you know this, but like you're one of the reasons I got into libertarianism. Like, I ever tell you the state fair story?
which one?
So this is like, it was the cycle after Ron Paul had won, and it was the first cycle that Gary Johnson was on. And I went to the, or maybe it was the term after that. I went to the state fair, right? And I did the same thing that I do every year. I go to Ye Old Mill, I roll up a joint, and then I smoke that joint in Ye Old Mill and throw it in their putrid water, so that if anybody catches me or smells it, I can just be like, I don't know, it smells like weed in there. That's weird. And I went in, and I come through, and this is back when like the Libertarian booth was still on that little political alley on the L over there. And I come walking down, and literally, like, the Republicans and the Democrats have people out with clipboards headhunting for fucking information. Addresses, emails, all that shit, right? And then fucking I go to the green booth, and the green booth literally has a back in 5 minutes sign, which is just great, right? I get to the Libertarian booth, and it's you, but I don't know you at this point, right? I didn't even know that was you till I saw you again years later, right?
Oh, interesting.
So I go up to the booth, and I'm looking, and at this point they were just giving away the constitutional books, right? Because now they sell them, but they used to just give them away. And you just go here, and I looked at you, and I said, "Don't you want my personal info?" And you go, "No, I don't want that. I want you to read about what your rights are," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And it's something that really stuck with me, just the different mentality between the two major cults of wanting all the information, and then this third party that's like, "Hey man, this is what you're entitled to. You do whatever the fuck you want with that."
Well, exactly. And that's the funny thing about libertarians. As a marketer, I want your information. I want to track you and do all those things because I want to make money. But I know your right to privacy. I'm not going to ask a libertarian to sign up for a list. That's the last thing that you want to do. I mean, if you want to be informed, you're going to go and look for information. So, yeah, absolutely. Hand that information out. And like you said, as a minarchist, anarchist.
So what is that? Okay, but like I want to know about that with you, because you have said like minarchist and anarchist a bunch. Like what? Like so, like because I know with libertarians and minarchists, like libertarians want like 10% more government.
Yeah.
Where does a minarchist play into that?
So, it kind of comes down to how much government you really want. I mean, take care of the courts, take care of the roads. I know we love roads. Your basic infrastructure. But then you talk about, some of the Jeffersonian libertarians that get into that argument about, some of the education things and some of those real basic things. There's that fine line, and when you're talking about limiting government back to about 10 to 20% of what it is today. That's such a minute thing, but holy crap, libertarians love to argue with other libertarians.
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's so funny because people think like, "Oh, why don't you go to your libertarian meetings and talk to your friends?" It's like, no, that's not how it works. Actually, most libertarian meetings are super disjointed because everybody has a different opinion, and we hear everybody's opinion because it's a staunch individualism platform.
Right. So, since we're kind of on that tip with the presidential nominees coming up, you look on the left side with a lot of people being, "Hey, me too, believe all women," until it's your guy. And there's such tribalism.
Oh man, it's so funny, the hypocrisy and all that shit right now. Like, because I went after my liberal friends when Biden and they were like endorsing him, and I'm like, okay, well, so you need to apologize to everybody that voted for Trump then, because you don't just get to gaslight and white knight people for what you say is an indefinable, inexcusable transgression, and then vote for somebody with sexual assault charges too. And it's somebody that like you all kind of knew were creepy. You guys know Biden's creepy. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing about the libertarian crowd if that happened to a libertarian candidate, there would be 75 to 90% of the entire crowd ripping them down
Right.
and calling them out on that.
And the other percentage would be voting for McAfee.
Absolutely.
I don't think he really killed those people in Colombia. Fuck it. You know what? He's got my vote. Let's see. Mr. Black said, nationally, we're just turning below the linear growth. There's a trend now of 0 instead of to infinity. We had 32 new cases, 2,000. Right, Dave, because they lied to you about the numbers. Not only are those going down, but look into the way that COVID numbers are reported, because I, yesterday, stumbled across some absolute alarming bullshit. And that's the fact that anybody that dies with a heart condition, they're just kind of like putting into COVID. So if you have terminal cancer, but you get COVID and you die of your terminal cancer before the symptoms stick in, that's a COVID death. That's what they're doing right now. And what's really weird is the numbers are going down, but the security measures are ramping up. And everybody, like, that's the thing. It's like a no-win situation, because if they go down now, it'll be because social distancing worked.
Yeah, and the thing about that is with the original models, and you look at a few models where you had doing nothing, social distancing, and complete lockdown. And the model that continues to be referenced the most is the social distancing. And we're so far below those numbers, and there's a good portion of the...
But we were always going to be below those numbers. That's the problem that I have with this, is that, like, I'm not, like, here's the thing. My comedy erupted. I don't have a profession. I don't have disposable income, so I'm here quarantining. Not necessarily because I think it's right, but because, one, nothing's open, and two, I have no spending cash, so what options do I really have? You know what I mean? Like, it's real easy to make the right choice when it's the only choice you can make.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I have a few friends from high school and college that are general practitioners, ER docs, and they aren't even testing for the flu anymore. They're using all their swabs and to send them in for COVID testing. So let's say somebody comes in with the seasonal flu, which is pretty common right now still. Nope, it gets marked up and tested as COVID. So, those numbers are ramped up, but the other side of that is actual tests that test for COVID antibodies, they're on hold for at least 90 days by the FDA.
Right. Well, and that to me is what's so dangerous about this fucking compiling of a list, is that, like, now anybody that has, because here's the thing, they can't prove anything besides the antigens and the antibodies in your system. So anybody that's ever had this will appear on this list.
Right.
Which means, and like, I don't know, I don't really trust our government compiling lists without our knowledge of people that they may or may not want to get rid of in a future date. That hasn't really, like, ask the Native Americans or ask the Chinese about that. Hell, go to Germany and ask the Jews how that worked out.
Yeah, and the push for Google and Apple to have an app that, and Facebook already had this technology to test where you are in proximity to someone else and geo-tracking. Facebook had already been years ago developing an algorithm for their dating app on, you two were close in contact, so we're going to start pushing information and suggestions about how you should meet. No, that technology has already been there. Apple.
Well, and they've been, like, with Facebook, in Facebook's case, they were heavily subsidized by the CIA, and this is all, you can find this if you just Google it. Like, this isn't even, that's the thing about this that is so fucking weird. It's not even hidden. They're not even trying to hide it. It's right there in the open. That's the thing that's so nefarious about this shit. Is like the CIA has been subsidizing Facebook to get a stranglehold, and then they've been using all the doxing information for their own purposes. And now, like, I mean, even last week, Walz addressed Minneapolis and Minnesota, and he was like, "We can tell by the cell phone data that you've been obeying the stay in shelter." Are you fucking kidding me? You motherfuckers are monitoring my phone? Which, we knew, but still, like, the fucking brazen attitude to just do it and say it,
Yeah, I mean, they're not even hiding this anymore. And if you think about it, 4 years ago, the election, Trump wins, and you have all the left-leaning media personalities just, that fascist, literally Hitler.
Right.
And 4 years later, all the blue state governors have put in complete lockdowns, asked for martial law, and have actually implemented Nazi and fascist orders.
Right. Well,
Uh,
because the left is the one that are fascist. That's what's going on right now. And that's not to say that the right can't also be fascist. Both the parties are very the same.
yeah, no, absolutely. But I always get a kick out of your comments. Antifa is fuck.
Yeah, it is. If you're
Yeah,
showing up to violently suppress someone's right to speak, you're a fascist. Period.
yeah, and I really think that the suppression of testing with COVID was done on purpose, and just by the bureaucratic crap and piles of paperwork that people are forced to go through. That was just a nice snow job. And
Yeah.
also the economy was already tanking. This was a nice nail in the coffin to say, oops, let's print another few $1 trillion and transfer money
Right.
to our well politically connected corporate buddies who
It reminds me,
contribute to
honestly, it reminds me of 9/11 all over again. Like, you can argue the implicit, like, nature of the government during 9/11, but you cannot argue how much they took advantage of the events. And it's the same thing here. I'm not saying that they're implicit in the spread of this. They might be, but they're definitely taking advantage of it to hit all their bullet points. And so are the Republicans. I mean, shortening the campaign trail is only going to help Trump get reelected.
Yeah. And I mean, Homeland didn't exist. ICE didn't exist before the Patriot Act. I mean, there were a slew of services that were covered under the CIA and the FBI, but now they have full agencies and full expansion and invasion into our personal liberties
Hold on
at
one
home.
second. Dave says he's cited a link, and he said there's next to no influenza right now, but notice one important graph that points to lower flu-like symptoms, which include COVID percentage. Right, because they're taking other things like influenza, and they're diagnosing them as COVID to juice the numbers. Of course, there's not a lot of influenza because they're being misdiagnosed as COVID.
Yeah, and that actual reference to the health.state.mn.us, that
Dave, they
was
are. I mean, Dave, I will show you some sweet links. They are absolutely juicing the COVID numbers. Absolutely.
yeah, that was confirmed by a physician friend of mine that she can't even test for the flu.
Right.
Every test that she does gets sent off for testing for COVID. They don't even test for influenza right now. So of course those numbers are off because if you have those symptoms, they're going to test for it, but it's automatically marked in the chart. If you match anything close to it, COVID.
Right. And like even Dave, they're literally juiced. I will send you links on it, bro. Like, I get that you don't believe me, and that's fine, but seriously, like, this is something that is known. Those numbers you say they're juicing. Okay. No, they are. They're juicing the numbers. Look at the numbers of COVID cases spiking up, even though they're under the thing. They're juicing the numbers, and they're still not hitting the total that they told us they would be. That's why they're juicing them. They're juicing them to make it look like it's bigger than it is.
So you talk about health scares and some other things. You know, nasty cases of influenza hitting a senior home are a real worry. So you look at the demographics and the median age of death in Minnesota with those 51 deaths. Not to say that any death is insignificant.
Wait, 51 deaths is what? In what period of time?
In the past few months that they're counting these 51 deaths,
Sure.
the median age I think is 81. And not to say that anybody's life is insignificant, but they've had a long life and they are in the highest risk group. Those numbers of deaths are well below what they were predicted. Tens of thousands were the original numbers if we did nothing in the state, and even if we did social distancing, still high numbers. We're not even close to that. And I look at my restaurant customers, my travel agency customers were balls to the walls busy in January. We couldn't start new projects. And then I get calls, I'm going to have to close my agency. We're done. You know, and the closures of businesses are going to continue because
Well, okay, so like, what is your agency, like, the way you're explaining it is kind of nebulous. I'm not sure what you're like. So you're representing all these companies, and these companies are folding, so you're gonna have to fold by proxy, or what?
Well, not necessarily. I've doubled down on working with my nonprofit clients
Sure.
who help in emergency situations, um, and also political clients, working with some of the national libertarian think tanks. But my local small business clients
Mm,
that rely on remaining open and have razor thin margins.
yeah.
You know, people can say have a rainy day fund, but when you get a 2% profit, and that's what you have to run your business on, pay your bills and yourself, and you don't have that. So to be told every 2 weeks that, oh, we're going to extend the shutdown, and it's going to go on through May into June at least, and there's absolutely no reason for it to go on.
Right.
Uh,
Well, and
warmer
here's the
temp-
thing. There's also a scenario where if this mutates or becomes, because that's the thing about a lot of this, is a lot of this would be the right reactionary measure if it was further progressed. And I understand getting ahead of it, trying to make sure that doesn't happen. But every time the numbers come back, they're lower than what we're being told, but the fucking implements of security keep going up. And it's weird because it just seems like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because people are like, oh, the stay-in shelters are working. Well, the numbers are dropping in the 4 or 5 states that didn't self-distance. So, like, that's not a valid argument right now. It might be, but, like, it's not. And the idea that, like, oh, now, and you look at the modern news, like, they're just reporting all of a sudden, oh, we passed Italy. Well, yeah, but look at how many more people we have.
yeah, and the thing about Italy, you look at
They're all
a
old people, and they all have, like, they are one of the highest per capita smokers in the world. They're
yeah,
old smokers, and this attacks your lungs. That's like, that
yeah,
was my biggest problem coming out of it, because, like, there were no numbers or no metrics that I trusted originally, because, like, you look at Italy, right? You have an older population. Their population median is almost 10 years older than us in America. Like, it's like 47 to 35 or some shit like that, at their average age of people in their country. And then you look at the per capita smokers, they're the number one in the world. And so it's like,
yeah.
okay, so you have old people that smoke and they're getting this disease that attacks your lungs. Of course, their death toll is going to be high. Then you look at Australia. That was the other one that had numbers coming out early. Well, now you're talking about a continent where people have been inhaling smoke for at least 6 months.
So you look at these initial models,
And I
and
don't believe any of China's numbers. They're not even real. They're not letting people get it, so they just let people out.
no, and you mentioned China and talking about numbers and the control that people are begging for right now.
Yeah.
It is here, put an app on your phone and to help us fight COVID. Well, China does that. They track your every movement, and guess what? Those people that actually got out of Wuhan were the ones that had the high social scores. They score you and put you into a cast. And if you do good, you get rewarded. If you follow orders, you get rewarded. If you don't, off to the gulag. I mean, hands down, these controls that are going in and in response to this just don't make sense in response to the numbers. And the cure is definitely worse than the disease. It's maddening.
Right. And, like, my whole thing is that as the numbers went down, the totalitarianism went up. And that
Yeah,
should be
and
the exact reverse. You look at, like, in Minnesota, they've got these lines where people are narking each other out and everybody's just doing what they're going to do. And then again, if the numbers go down, it's because we listen to that. So there's no
it's a no.
there's no accounting for your government just flat out lying to you, which we have a very big historical pattern of our government doing.
Yeah, and I mean, I see a lot of libertarians. I mean, actual.
Why do you always emphasize, like, libertarians?
Well, I'm kind of emphasizing when I'm talking about Libertarian Party members,
Yep.
who want to actually participate and reform the government.
Well,
I make that.
it seems like the state libertarian organization in Minnesota is just kind of there to party and be contrarian. They don't really care about what they're progressing. Is kind of the vibe I get off them.
Um, honestly, I haven't. I got that vibe, and I didn't feel a real seriousness from the Minnesota State Party. Uh, my work I do with the National Party. They're a client of mine.
Sure.
I also work with several other state parties that are serious and doing some good things and getting people elected to county offices and state offices in other states. The Minnesota Party, great message, terrible marketing, and uh, so there are a lot of libertarians out there. So when I say card carrying libertarians, that's great. Do what you want to do and reform the party. But right out, you introduce me as a minarchist. I believe in personal voluntary action. Be responsible yourself. You don't need the government to tell you to do what's right.
Yeah, well, that's a big tenet of libertarianism. I think minarchy and anarchy too is you can't legislate morality. It's just not
Yeah.
possible. Like because eventually it becomes perverted and then it becomes what other people think morality should be.
Yeah, and
Because look at like again, and I cite all the people I know that are super hard liberals, and I'm not saying that they have to answer to me, but they do have to self-reflect at some point. Think of all the reasons you attacked somebody that supported Trump, and now in your head you're going to vote for Biden, who has sexual assault charges looming. Like you don't like. At some point, there has to be this awakening moment where the morality either comes from you or it doesn't. It's never going to be legislated in because it can't be. It absolutely cannot be.
no, and the fact that you want to push morality and with the hardening of these controls and applauding the lockdowns because we have to save the old people, and we're talking about looking at the numbers and the demographics, a very small portion of the smallest demographic would face mortality. And it's funny when the common good is caring about a minority to push these harsh controls. So when I say, hey, wait a minute, you're shutting down businesses. I have a
You're
right.
not
What
just
do you
shutting
do?
down businesses, you're punishing small businesses. And
Yeah,
like now there's executive orders in place in our state anyways, but before last week they were doing it unconstitutionally because there was no executive order signed. There was no nothing signed. It was just a suggestion.
yeah.
But they were letting the cops enforce it. I mean, like I would be surprised if there's not, at minimum 100 lawsuits over this shit. There should be.
Oh, yeah. The ACLU is going to have a field day with this. Um, they should, but when people were questioning what do you care about your rights, and I'm like, this isn't going to go on for 2 weeks, and the markets are done. They're crashed. They're not going to rebound for a while, even with the trillions of dollars a day that the Fed is printing and pushing into the market, which is worse, by the way, because your dollar is going to be worth 10%
Oh
of what
yeah,
it's
I mean that's
like.
you and I have talked about inflation and how people don't understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny because all these people that have supported all these different causes, they're going to get a crash fucking course in economics.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's why I said we're having a rerun of the early 20th century.
Dave
The
just said,
Weimar
"Pardon,
Republic.
I know you were talking." Oh, yeah. I get you, Dave. I misunderstood. Dave actually had my back in that, and I misunderstood him. Is what happened. So that makes sense. Yeah, because he's saying all the flus are low. Yeah, all the flus are low across the board, and they're lumping them into COVID to try and hit these numbers, and the spikes are still going down 20 to 30 grand of the projections. Because again, you can't just look at the way the media's reporting it. They're like, oh, today we passed Italy. They don't talk about the ratio of population, and that means we haven't really yet, but they talk about all this scary shit, but we also haven't had this go through the mainland cities. I mean, this shit is just getting to Philadelphia. It's in Detroit right now. It hasn't hit Chicago yet. That's going to be crazy. It hasn't really, I mean, Texas has a bunch, but it still hasn't rocked the big three cities like it's going to. It hasn't really gotten here. It hasn't really hit Milwaukee as hard as it's going to. I mean, this is going to be a really weird thing. And it sucks that we've positioned ourselves in such a place that it is so hard to trust any information coming at you because any information you come across, you can go somewhere else on the internet and find contradictory information. It's very tough.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you die? What happened?
No, no. Oh, you're back. I lost you for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you go onto the internet and everybody's an expert. Top doctor from so and so, and yada yada yada. You can find an expert in any field, but one of the common threads and agreement is that you can have no symptoms and walk through your COVID period with nothing. And I think the number that I've seen most typically is around 80% of people will have no symptoms and be asymptomatic. So when you talk about it not hitting those cities, I think that's probably not true. It's probably already there. It just hasn't hit the most susceptible to upper respiratory failure. So there are probably people walking around that have recovered, and because we don't have testing, we don't know.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And the other thing that's like scary to me is I'm very, very versed in propaganda. It's something that I studied when I was majoring because I was going to be a history teacher. I love propaganda. It's such a weird, interesting thing how you can make a mass amount of people just believe they have to do horrific things. You know, it's crazy. And the thing that's really interesting to watch is look at how the tone of our federal government changed. Almost every COVID meeting now is how we're battling the invisible enemy. You know, like it's starting to sound a lot like what McCarthyism sounded like.
I, they're really going out and looking for it instead of finding it when it
Right,
happens.
which is
And
why putting people who have it on a fucking list is dangerous as fuck.
yeah, and I don't
And
want to downplay
not even a protected list. I mean, like 911 dispatchers and EMTs do not need. I mean, you're talking you could get into that job within 90 days. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was an EMT and a registered nurse. I had my
Well, I
EMT's
don't want her
license.
to have my information either, Ryan.
No, and I didn't have that when, I was an EMT back in the day. And you shouldn't have it. It's not necessary.
Right.
Honestly, you sign up for the job, you know there are inherent risks. You want to protect yourself because there are infectious diseases out there. Don't get me wrong. Going into work as an EMT, you're scared shitless every time you to go out there because you don't know what you're walking into. But you know what? At the end of the day, you want to save lives and help people. So you walk into the situation, you assess it, and you treat it as best you can and get them better help because you're an EMT. You're treating the first line, and then they're seeing a physician once you get them to the
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just really troubling that I don't want to downplay that this can be really serious for some people, but for the vast majority, you're not going to have any symptoms, or they're going to be mild, and you don't need
But that's the
hospitalization.
other thing. And like,
So,
I don't want to sound like the fucking callous asshole, but like, why are we doing all this if we're already admitting that 80% of the populace isn't really going to be affected? Like they said that from the get-go. Like 80% of people will either be asymptomatic or show minor signs. Of those 20 people, that's the severe sign. And out of those 20 people, 20% of them will have to get a respirator. That's what we're doing for it from the numbers.
right, and and so the whole thing where I'm like, fine, social distancing, let's let's be more careful. Everybody, I think, was on board with that,
Well, I
and that
think
makes
there's a really good video that I shared on this program that Reason ran about how a lot of this social distancing is just kickstarting the 21st century. A lot of the shit we're doing right now, we probably could have been doing 20 years ago if we weren't so in love with human contact. Because the automation in the future is now. I mean, it's been here for like the last 20 years. Like, why do marketing companies still have fucking offices in brick and mortar? There's no reason for that.
you would be surprised.
How?
Yeah, you'd be really surprised at the businesses that even had online portals, how caught with their pants down they were. They're like, holy shit, uh, I need to be able to take orders online. And what do you mean? My website is my most important marketing tool now. People can't come to your store. What part of that do you not understand? There's a lot of people that own businesses, particularly retail businesses, that have been in it for 40 years. That's what they know, and that's where the money is. So you have a lot of old school store owners that still invest in brick and mortar, and they were shocked. And
Well,
the
but
people that
I'm not even necessarily talking about the ma and pa stuff. Like I'm talking about you have giant conglomerates that could be literally doing their entire like business out of one office space when they have 8. And now that they're being forced in, all they're really going to see is those revenue checks of having those 7 buildings not pay rent.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. You still have, even with offices that can be remote and distributed. I mean, I work with developers in the UK, India, across town. We don't ever meet. I have a developer in Minneapolis that I see him maybe twice a year in person because guess what? If we really need to talk, we hop in a video chat. All these people on social media, they're like, oh, Zoom is great. Well, yeah, I've been using it for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Oh
So,
yeah, and I have the same reaction like back in the day when I talked about TeamSpeak. You know what I mean? Like even now,
yeah,
people are like, "Oh, TeamSpeak, this and that. What's that?" It's like I don't know. It's a fucking outdated app from 10 years ago. Zoom is garbage though because it tracks everything. Like it's like they took the fucking 9/11 times Facebook formula for what they're doing because I mean their monitoring is just gross.
oh yeah, I just saw the comment come in. Going to the mall, trying on things. I do too. And brick and mortar is great. I really like going to try things on. And honestly, getting opinions in person from a sales clerk that actually uses some of these things,
Yeah.
it,
Well, and
it's
and
beneficial.
if you have a body that's weird proportions, I mean, like I don't know that I've seen a pair of jeans that fit me in the same size of the like same manufacturer ever. You know what I mean? It's like I go in for one pair of jeans and it's 38, then it's 37 or it's 30 and then 39 or whatever the fuck. Like it just the same pair of jeans, the same manufacturer. Like that's something that I need to do in person. But the reality is that 80 to 90% of all of this we haven't need to do in person in 10 to 15 years. I mean, this is going to be an interesting thing because especially if this ends up going longer than we thought it was going to, the habits are going to be established and a lot of the stuff we've done socially, they're just going to be antiquated and outdated. I mean, like there's no reason for half of the brick and mortar shit. And that's why the whole argument for minimum wage was super funny because it's like automation is right around the corner, dog. You're just arguing for better pay for robots.
Yeah, and it still amazes me. I saw an article today that the government wants to lower mandated wages for agricultural workers, meaning they're admitting that the under the table immigrants who come in and work for less than
Oh,
minimum wage
yeah.
are actually necessary.
Don't even get me started on the American farming industry. Like, basically, the thing with American farming is that we all are fans of, like, tractors and the picturesque things, but most of them haven't been profitable since the 60s. We heavily subsidize that entire industry, and if we did not do that, we'd probably have hydroponic food warehouses way more in supply than the 4 or 5 that exist right now. That's a corner of automation that was absolutely stunted because we had to keep farmers in jobs, but the reality is we just made them fucking slave proles. Like they can't get out of debt because they have to operate under all this fucking negative money against what is not a profitable business anymore.
Yeah, and yeah, farming it's just ridiculous. The amount of land savings by moving to better farming practices would just tickle conservationist minds with the amount of prairie that actually could be out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and again, with the warehouse stuff, I mean, that like, there's more control that goes into it. It's, for people that smoke weed, it's the same reason why lab weed and hydro weed is better than outdoor weed. You can control it more. You don't have to worry about pests. You don't have to worry about any of this other shit. Like, there's spider mites and different shit, but like you don't have to worry about, oh, the fucking too much sun this year. Here goes half the crops. That shit is just eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, controlled environment. Ironic that you were talking about that.
Yeah, Cream and Jeans brought up a great point. And a lot of these places, like I know people in Minnesota that live southwest of us. They own farms, and if they have a surplus of corn or soy, when they hit the cap of what they're allowed to sell, they're not allowed to sell anything over that. So they're literally destroying tons of perfectly good crops because of the control marketing prices that they just fucking decided we have to do. And that's the whole interaction point of it for me is like, if you look at American farming, it's an outdated, antiquated model, but for some reason, we just love how fucking American a farmhouse looks. There's just something real American about a farm. But, you look at, like, farmers aren't making what they used to, and the products, because of the long, antiquated system, you're just basically, like, committing to put people on social welfare indefinitely.
Yeah, I mean, farming, that's socialism that Republicans absolutely love.
Yeah.
That, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Republicans,
Republicans fucking hate socialism unless it's any kind of relief funds or subsidizing farming. They fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, both teams hate welfare if it's for the other team's group.
Yeah,
and it's so tribal.
Well, look at how hard the Republicans tried to destroy Obamacare when it was really just Romney care. Like, they invented it.
Oh, and look at how right now, when they're just eating up and doubling down on DJT, and I'm going to call him DJT from now on because we're living in the FDR era.
Look, I'm largely the best DJ on this planet.
Oh shit!
But honestly,
look, I don't want to brag.
Oh shit!
But I am the best DJ ever.
I think that's the only thing I love about late night TV is the first part of Colbert's monologue.
You are fake news.
It's pretty funny to see the Trump disaster because it just writes itself.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, like, how hard everybody was sold, like, when Trump wins, it's the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world, and what I get frustrated with is I see tons of my Bernie Sanders friends and even Biden and even Warren friends, a lot of people on the left that are acting like this would have gone different if anybody else was president, and that's just not the case. Like, yeah, maybe the person in charge wouldn't have made crude jokes about it, I believe that, but Trump's not really a politician, and I think the thing that makes people angriest is that's like, he's a reflection of America. He's like the ugly warts that we all know we have but want to act like we don't. And that's why he wins, because he is America.
So you look at all the people cheering on Tiger King. It's fantastic and amazing. And it saved everyone in this horrible quarantine. Well, it's terrible. I mean, it's garbage TV. And everyone that I see online seems to be loving it. And you're right. It's a reflection of what people want in America today. And politics is no different. It's absolute garbage. And if you
so you're against Tiger King?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it. Shut your fucking mouth and watch it. Like, you can't pass fucking pious judgments on something you can't watch. And I'll tell you this. I'll even go out on a limb and tell you this, Ryan. I think you're going to fucking love it. It's fucking crazy.
The Joe Exotic's campaign manager, he gets suggested on Facebook as
that guy's a big mover and shaker in the Libertarian Party. Like, that guy's all over. He was at the Minnesota convention. I never met him, but he was there.
Yep. No, he's definitely known in national libertarian circles, and
that's fucking crazy. What a crazy time to be alive. So when do you think all this shit will be over? What's your, like, because I don't think it's going to be May. I think it's going to be longer.
So the reality of the economic ramifications,
Yep.
we're looking at, yeah, probably earliest next year is when you're going to see some real bounce back. Because guess what? The supply chains and the growing seasons for local domestic crops done. I mean, you're already seeing milk dumped in Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen, food rotting in fields. One, because they can't get workers to come up here with,
Well, and the
any
big thing
harsher
is the
lockdown
big thing
to
that
harvest.
nobody even addresses is as all this shit keeps ramping up, you know who's getting less and less like as a workforce are truckers. More and more semi truck drivers are saying fuck this. And eventually you're not going to have the implements to ship what you need to. And the first rule of revolt is hungry population. So we'll see where the fuck that leads, because that could go down a very interesting rabbit hole itself. But it's funny because the economy is going to suffer. It's in a recession, but it's closer to a depression. They're just trying not to freak people out.
Yeah, I'm just reading this last question about could COVID be a scheme to force isolate the country? Well, I think,
I don't think it's a scheme, but I do think, like, this is the same way I feel about 9/11. I don't feel that our government is directly doing any of this. Do I think there are people that are uncouth enough to take advantage of it? Abso-fucking-lutely.
yeah, 100%. I think people are taking advantage of the situation and riding it out as much as they can. And the and like you said, with all the numbers of the deaths and the new cases, even with the lack of testing, don't warrant the new authoritarian draconian measures that
Right.
I know
But
will
you have
be.
to have, and the funny thing is, like, the left is pushing a lot of this shit, and
Yeah.
their draconian numbers are exactly why Trump's going to get reelected.
No,
Because the
and
thing about it is, like, they're going to panic everybody. I mean, think of how short the campaign trail has already been cut right now. The incumbent already has the advantage.
yeah, and well, and I mean, oh, he wanted to put direct aid. He said, I want to check in every American's pocket. And then it actually went to legislature and they dicked it up and said, oh, we have to get our donors paid. And I can tell you from a small business standpoint that we're getting fucked.
Yeah.
There's no money for us. Unless you're at the top end of that, then you might be getting a little money
You are
to
fake
continue
news.
your business, but you're not profiting off it at all. Like
No.
the large donating corporations, they got a fucking check and said, here you go, here's your bailout, bam, done. Small businesses, you have to go through a private bank to get a commercial loan that might be forgiven if you spend it on the right things.
Right. If you do
And
the right things, if you play ball the right way, you might get forgiven. And the other thing that's really interesting with a lot of the small business stuff is that they went through and gave people money on the assumptions they wouldn't lay people off, and then they laid people off anyways.
yep. Oh, absolutely. And so that's the assumption for big corporations. The stipulation for the small business loans is you get $1,000 per employee for this 8-week period, and you can't lay them off. And if you do, you get penalized, and then you have to pay the loan. It's not forgiven. It's not a grant. Nothing. So nobody gets a handout for small businesses. And small business employers account for 64% of the jobs in America. So they're fucking the majority of the employers in America right now
Yeah.
that probably won't be able to continue business.
Oh, I would
They're-
say it's probably more than probably, right? Probably more.
Yeah, well, I just going by the publicly stated numbers. From what I can tell you by my clients moving forward, I think most of them will probably be okay. There's about 25% that I can see that will probably fold, that they aren't going to be able to continue because they are going to be forced to be closed through June, July. I mean, if you're closed through March, April, May, June,
Mm-hmm.
and your margin is a few percent, and you have no help from the government, plus you're on the hook for rent, supplies, and anything else, you can't maintain your business. So even if you get a loan, you have no profit, that loan is defaulted.
Well, but none of that. I mean, I think you're missing the bigger object where if the workforce can't go to work, the economy's not going to come back. If the economy doesn't come back, it's just worthless paper.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that these businesses are taking out these fake money loans for a lot of money and, to pay their employees or hold, some payroll or be able to pay their bills. Well, that's not cutting it. And when those businesses fold, well, there's a loan that's not going to be paid, and there are workers that aren't going to be coming back to work.
Right, because, like, how can they? There's nothing to go to work to.
Yeah, so when people talk about this on and off switch, that when this ends, whenever this authoritarian government says, "Oh, it's okay, we're done. You're good to go back. The numbers are good. We know there's going to be an uptick again, and we're going to lock you down again. But hey,
Right.
go ahead and open your business
Well,
up
that's I think what scares me the most is that it's starting to look like it's starting to look like they're pushing us in a position where this is just going to be fucking lockdown season. Like flu season becomes martial law season.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be whenever the next time that they feel like locking this down, they say, "Oh, there's this new study. We see the numbers creeping up. Everybody fucking stay home. Close your businesses down. You're done."
Yeah, and then what happens? Nothing. We go, and that's kind of what's so interesting to me about the way they're kind of like pussyfooting around a war with China. Because I mean, if this goes full depression, the only way we're getting out is World War III, right? Because the only way we got out of the depression was World War II. One, two.
Yeah, I mean,
one.
that's the only way that the U.S. government ever
World War.
It's a world war, and
China's kind of unfinished business from that anyways, if we're honest. And nobody wants to talk about that, but they were the only brutal authoritarian dictatorship that was allowed to just be there.
Exactly. No, they've just existed, and we're relatively untouched from any of the scathing of the rest of the world.
Just fucked, man. So where do we go from here? What's your advice? Like, you're in charge. What do we do to fix it right now?
If I'm in charge,
yeah,
we're just gonna smoke a lot of weed, drink a lot of whiskey, maybe freebase some cocaine, and
all right,
and buy some hookers.
I like the way you govern. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to legalize medicinal cocaine. Where's that fucking lobby? Man, I got my medicinal coke card. Get fucked, bro.
Honestly, I don't think there's a real good way out here. And talking to my friends that invest and manage other people's money, they're all saying the same thing, that
invest in silver. We're fucked.
No, somehow it's going to be propped up and pushed out even farther. And
yes. Well, that's my fears, because if we're in a no-win situation here, where if the numbers are on par with what they say, they'll use that as an excuse to keep us locked down. If the numbers are significantly lower than what they say, they will use locking us down as the rationale behind it, and we stay locked down.
Right. Now, whatever happens, we're going to lose a lot of freedoms here. And it's going to be worse than 9/11, that these powers that the governors have seized, and one would say that you hope that individual nation states, it's what we're supposed to be, would really see that, hey, you can say fuck you to the federal government and govern your own fiefdom and nation state as you see fit, and do the right thing for a smaller group of people. South Dakota, a lot of people in a broad area where you have 11 people per square mile. That's great. You don't need a lockdown.
Yeah.
And when I pointed that out to some of the left-leaning people on my social media feed, how dare you care about rights? And I'm like, 11 people per square mile. They have a right to continue to do what they do because they already social distance. That's normal. They're not in contact with a lot of other people. They're making your beef. They're making your bacon. They're farming your food. Why would you, from thousands of miles away, point your finger at them and say, no, you need to do this? So, yeah, I think that mentality is being ingrained right now that,
Yeah, well, I mean that's exactly it. It's not the infractions, it's the behavior that's being indoctrinated. Because
yeah,
eventually we just get used to this. Like it's shocking and weird now, but we just get used to it, and that means that they can ratchet us down even more next time. Maybe next time it's fucking 2 people a day allowed in the liquor store for all we know, you know? Not
yeah,
that
I
that I
mean,
mean they're going to keep us drunk if they want to keep us happy. They know that. But I'm just saying that's an example, you know?
well, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason that cannabis was allowed to be sold in the states where it's legal, and alcohol. One, I get the alcohol because, you know,
Wait, say that.
uh,
Just say that again. Just say I get the alcohol.
well, honestly, alcoholics, when they detox, you don't necessarily want them to be in the ER when you
No.
have COVID patients and
Right.
other patients that are stressed out. But that's the other side of this lockdown when we talk about things that are non-COVID related. You know, you look at, hey, I'm going to force people that are in a abusive domestic relationship to sit in the same house and not be allowed out. That's really tough. Uh, you know, so there are a lot of other things where in my hometown, I was talking to a friend, and he said his dad's neighbor is a restaurant owner, and they've been doing okay, but since his forced closure, he decided to go to his basement and put a bullet in the back of his head. It's really depressing that
Yeah.
the things that come out of this, are not
Well,
good.
and watching, I mean, like, just watching my friends meltdown on Facebook is crazy. Like, my friends are comics, so a lot of it is funny, which is nice. But like, man, people are going through some like shit. It's like it really seems like people haven't spent 10 minutes alone with themselves, so they're just forced to face these inner truths that anybody with any kind of self reflection has already looked into.
Yeah, and I mean, as a comic, I mean, you rely on going in entertaining crowds. I mean, how are you doing with that? I mean,
Oh,
you rely
terrible. I'm
on,
on I'm on fucking Twitch, man. This is how I have to make a living now. I have to fucking come on here and give 3 hours a night, tell people to hit up my Venmo at Corey Adam Comedy and PayPal. Boom. No, I like the thing is though is like I'm not bitter about it. It's just whatever comedy is going to be going forward is changing. And this is one of those moments in technology and in history where if you don't adapt, you die. And not everybody gets to keep being a stand-up comedian. And being funny isn't the only metric of whether or not you get to continue this. Innovation, how well and I'm not God knows I might not make it. This might not be anything ever, but I have to try a different direction because anything is better than standing stagnant, you know?
absolutely. I think it was probably 20 years ago. I was on the five in California in a cab going to a customer site, and I saw a billboard that said, "Innovate or die."
Yeah.
And I was the kid. I think I was probably 24 years old, 23, 24 years old back then, and going to a client to talk to them about, hey, send us files, digital files instead of film to print your magazine. And it was just so foreign to some of these old, antiquated advertising agencies and publishers back then on how to do digital content to produce a printed magazine.
Right.
And now we're in the day where that magazine doesn't even exist. It's all online. And the funny part is the people that still ran those printed magazine shops still run a lot of those businesses today.
Oh yeah. Well,
So,
it's not like they're not going to. You know what I mean? Like,
no. So yeah, that mindset has changed real quick for a lot of us that can grasp technology and adapt. But the people that hold that money, that got all those bailouts, that hang on to that, they haven't changed a lot of those mindsets. that's probably one generation off until that happens.
You think one generation? I think that's being generous.
Uh, I, as far as adapting to new technology, no. But you're starting to see, some of the control and the the look into people's behaviors
Mm-hmm.
and controlling those technologies. I mean, we talked about that app that looks at behavior and predicts. No, that's probably the next level of where those investors are going to go.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they might, or they just fold and don't invest anymore. I mean, that's a thing too. A lot of these people, at least as far as the people that I know that are investors, a lot of them are only doing that because they feel like they should do something with their money, and it's a secondary thing. It's not their primary income. So if they feel any kind of threatened to invest, they just won't. I mean, that's why the bottom falls out of the market like it does.
True. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and that's the other thing. You look at in January when the first reports of COVID were coming about and knowledge about it was out there, and the markets were already being a little shaken and volatile on top of it. And you have Republican, Democratic um, senators and representatives pulling their money, telling their donors to pull their money out of the markets. And guess what?
They
Nothing happens.
they
There are
they
actually
did though.
laws
They
to
did.
protect them. They pulled their money out,
Yeah.
and they've actually passed laws to protect them against this. That it's okay to do insider trading if you're an elected official. The same kind of, I mean, this is the same shit that Martha Stewart went to prison for, which was a literal slap on the wrist, by the way. But
Oh
hey,
yeah. I
if
mean,
you and I did that,
she should have been in jail indefinitely after that bullshit.
yeah, if you and I ever did that, we would be in federal pound me in the ass prison. I
Right.
mean, hands down. But it's legal for the rulers to do that. And guess what? They've been publicly shamed. It's a lot of people on my social media feeds are upset with that, but I guarantee you, every single one of them is going to get reelected.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. Like look at the like Keith Ellison bullshit this last time around. I mean,
And
like you literally have all the proof you want, but they, I mean, even what's that girl that married her brother?
oh,
Allegedly.
Omar in
Yeah,
season
Ilhan Omar's
5.
another one. Like they don't like it doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters how they can spin it, you know? And
So
being Trump, like beating Trump is the only margin that they have. They don't care about anything else.
no, but it's interesting that you brought up Ellison. There was a lot of grumbling that he was in a safe lifetime seat from a lot of the local political reporters and critics. The reason that he decided to go local is because it's less damaging
Right.
and to be a local regional politician than a national politician. That, you know, in itself was spoke volumes. That he stepped down from a national federal office to take a state office where he was safe. He was in a safe seat. And it wasn't anything other than I know I'm guilty, and it's less likely that I'll be ousted if I don't have national pressure. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
any.
yeah. No, I mean, I think most people know that at this point we're in the conjuncture. I mean, we're not on the radio, so we don't have to fucking cover our asses. But yeah, a lot of this is purely conjuncture based on what we've been experiencing.
Right, right. Yeah, but hands down, from what I'm seeing about businesses investing, the ones that can and are safe, they're doubling down and spending money on marketing and trying to move ahead. But I can tell you that they're all hemorrhaging, and it's all about what you have in the bank right now. So if this goes on any farther past June for any of the states, you're going to see Great Depression 2.0.
Oh no,
I,
I mean, I think that your estimate is like, I think that it's going to be way more than in a few states. I think that this is going to go around to everything.
Yeah, I don't know. Even if it does turn back on and we're allowed to, slowly get back into it, starting in May, nobody's going to spend any money. Nobody has any money to spend.
Right, that's the thing. Nobody has any money to spend, and the relief checks they sent us were borderline stupid. They were offensive almost.
Yeah. I mean, well, and, I'm a small business owner. I office out of my house. I have no payroll. I'm a one-person corporation. So I don't qualify for a loan. My clients, thankfully, all of them are on board and paying their retainers, which is great. New projects, I was thankful to close a handful of new projects that are relevant and moving forward, and were successful. But I had a handful that were supposed to start in March, April, May, June, half a dozen website and full marketing funnel projects that aren't going to happen, that probably were accounting for half of my projected yearly income. And that's, for me, I'm fine with what I have. I can pay my bills.
Yeah,
barely.
which is better than most. I mean, like, I'm on here panhandling to people. Please give generously to Corey Adam Comedy at Venmo and PayPal. And that, like, without this, I wouldn't be able. I mean, I literally was able to pay my rent off the generous donations of people. You put forth the product, you say, help me, and they do sometimes. And that's something that's crazy, and I'm very fortunate for that. But, I watch a lot of my stand-up comic friends that just don't understand the aspect of evolve or die. And so now they're staring down the barrel of a much, much worse gun, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm proud of you and thankful that you have a great audience and you've been able to adapt.
Thanks, Dad.
Well, not the dad point, but honestly, it's innovate or die. And all of us are in that situation where all my clients that are successful right now, I'm like, double down on content. Write things that are relevant to your clients.
That's what I keep trying to tell people, is that, like, the person that comes out of this with the most content wins. And that's one thing about this show that I'm doing, is I don't know if it's good or bad, but I mean, this is our 17th episode. So there's 17 episodes of these at 3 hours a piece. Like, that's just content, and that's on YouTube. You cross around, like, it's broadcasting on Twitch. You can go to YouTube. Eventually, it'll probably be as a podcast format. I mean, like, that's the way that you face adversity, and the way that you decide to morph will directly dictate the returns you're going to get going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the clients that I'm moving forward with right now are ones that I've built good relationships with, and I'm talking about value and good content. So if you're struggling right now, and I've heard the crap about, hey, find your side hustle while you're sitting at home. Great, do it, but realize
I don't get that, though, because your side hustle is not going to be found. Like, nobody found their fucking hustle sitting at home. Like, that's not what hustle is. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I get mad about, like, with Facebook. People want to get super mad, and they want to act like their fucking slacktivism is somehow active.
Yeah, I mean.
Hello? You cut out.
Yeah, no, we had a little lag there.
Yeah, it lags sometimes.
Yeah, I like Gary V. I don't know if you watch his channel. I think he's great.
Freaky Deacon said, this show sucks. I just have bad taste. Hey, fuck you. Fuck you.
Great. I'm glad it sucks. Do better. Make a better product.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. Way to gaslight me in front of the marketing expert, Bly Dog. Jesus. They just want me hungry. They like me when I'm hungry and panicky.
Hey, you know what? You're out there doing something and creating content, and there are people commenting here, and
I want my money back. I bought a ticket to 2020 and I got Corey. Sorry, dude. I didn't book it. But I'm here. Hey, what's the deal with subsidizing my living? Ugh.
Voluntary society.
Yeah, right? Kind of fucking funny. All right, man. We are coming up on time. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, this was good. Have me on anytime.
No, I will. I really like talking to you because you're one person that I really like have a lot of similar views with, and it's interesting to hear how somebody who's kind of the same frame of mind also is able to deal with what we're dealing with, you know?
Yeah, no, and I always appreciate your opinions too. They're entertaining, and holy crap, your social media feed has a whole world of different views. So it's
Oh, my fucking Facebook is the goddamn Wild West, and I love it. Like, I fucking love it. You never know what you're gonna get. It's amazing. Like, I wish my Twitter could be like that, but I just didn't cultivate it like that.
yeah. Oh God, when I see people in our age group and demographic are like, oh yeah, I'm not on Twitter that much. I'm like, has it changed? No, no, it's still savage as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, it's the most savage, and people get offended the most.
Yeah, I have more fun on Twitter than any other social
And
media.
that's, I think, the thing. I've always said that with comedy is that, MME subscribed. Thank you so much for the subscription. That's the thing that I've always said is that if I wasn't a stand-up comic, I don't think I would have Facebook, but I for sure would have Twitter.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, Twitter's just a fun, weird, like, I love Twitter's algorithm allows you to get outside of your own think tank more than anything else, and I love that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's where hashtags originated. And follow a hashtag. I've met and talked to so many more people because I follow weird and eclectic things from erotic cosplayers to Brittany Spaniel breeders.
Wait,
And
erotic cosplayers? What the fuck kind of weird shit you doing over there, Ryan?
hey,
I'm not.
I
Hey,
like
I'm not. Hey,
cosplaying.
I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect from the Corey Adams show? I mean, we talked about China's porn video earlier.
That's right. Hey, man, I liked it. Maybe I'll have you on an episode and we'll do some porn. I feel like people don't really share their favorite porn with people very often.
I would be happy to
Oh,
participate.
hashtag Corey Adams sucks. That better not be your favorite porn. I'm out. All right. Ryan, thank you so much. You're the man.
Hey, you are welcome. Glad to be on.
Absolutely. We'll talk. Tell people where to get a hold of you. Where can they find you on Twitter? What's your company? Plug.
Hey, you can find me at Dr. Waterbury for a lot of ANCAP and libertarian stuff, or professionally at One Dog Solutions on Twitter.
All right. That was Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, buddy. Bye. All right. He's gone. We did it. We got rid of him. What should we do now? We can do whatever the fuck we want. Life is pretty good right now. We could go Johnny. We could go Tom. Yeah, we should call. Should we do Tom or Johnny? I feel like Johnny's active. Let's call him. Hello. Oh, didn't work. No answer. All right, no Johnny for tonight. We tried. That's on us. No big deal. Play the music. Okay. You're right. I should. That's my bad. You're right. Hold on. Let's get the music for you, you fucking assholes. Here we go. Here we go. Ready? Queued up. Yeah, what? What? Yeah, that's why he didn't answer. What? All right, there we go. Well, that's our Johnny segment, which is fine. By this guy, I don't give a fuck. We're rolling in. Call silence. Yeah, it was silence for sure. This is kind of a fun story. 25% of Wyoming stay-at-home workers boozing during work hours, huh? And this is by the Cowboy State Daily. What a great source. But I just want to say I'm offended that it's only 25%. If you're in Wyoming, you should be drinking all the fucking time. Let's go to our fucking pandemic update, shall we? We all love some good pandemic info, right? Here's our sweet cases. Total deaths. USA. USA. This is not where we want to be winning, but we are. But again, higher population, higher cases. This was always going to happen like this. And that number is going to fluctuate as well. It's going to be weird. We all know it. Let's get over it. No big deal, right? Let's call randomly. You know, you can't be mad when a call gets... You can't get mad when somebody silences your call when they didn't know you were calling, you know? Like, that's fair. They didn't know. They didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know the chills that could go on with this. When COVID is over, you and your folks should just get on the couch, conversate, while passing a fat one a la 85 South Shore. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Who knows? It's hard to say. I just want to see... Hi, Tom. How are you? Pretty good, actually. We actually had we went to go call somebody and they weren't there. And the call got silenced because they were there, but they were being too punk ass to answer, I guess, or something. Not punk ass, that's not fair. But so I was like, who can I call randomly that will pick up? And god damn it if it's not fucking Tom. I put a picture of you super young and pointing at a buffalo or some shit. It's funny if you go backwards. What?
Buffalo,
Oh,
not Florida.
dude. Hi, Tom. We're back. Yeah, I muted you. I'm an idiot. Tom, look, I don't want to brag about what a well-oiled machine this may or may not be, but I had your volume muted for a lot of that. So, hi, Tom. How is it going? Welcome to the show.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah,
Muted
all
again,
24
Dolt.
hours later.
Not only did I have your fucking audio muted, but it's the second person's audio I fucked up tonight.
Wow, you are a well-oiled machine. I mean, I'm actually just talking about your hair on that one, but yeah, the show's running great, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? Maybe they're running good, or maybe I've been muted this whole time. Maybe I'll go upload it to YouTube and nobody can hear a goddamn thing. That's the thing that's so funny about this to me is like, if these assholes wanted to make fun of me, they wouldn't tell me. And then I would literally do a half-hour segment of ghost talking.
That could be kind of fun for everybody else, just to basically take the video and just make their own audio.
Not for you, because then it would leave a creative outlet of dubbing in whatever I want you to say.
Yeah, but I mean, people are only just seeing a random picture of me anyway. They're not seeing my actual face as of right now.
I mean, that's a pretty dope picture, though.
Right?
Blind Dog says, can we just talk to the buffalo?
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Tom, you're being upstaged by your own buffalo picture. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it sounds about right. With most of my photos, I'm upstaged by something else.
Is this guest segment like a suicide watch for you, or like, are you okay? You seem like you're under more and more pressure as the days go by.
No, man, I'm doing
I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. Yesterday was a bit of a weird afternoon for me, but you know, don't like to discuss.
Why yesterday?
Too much of my
That was
mental
fucking
health.
cryptic. What do you mean weird?
Well, I don't know. Like, I had basically a small anxiety or panic attack, and then followed by a huge bout of depression the rest of the day. So,
Oh,
all
Jesus.
right. Yeah, well, it's just
Tom, this is an
Something you
upbeat
deal
show.
with.
Why are you bringing it down?
trying not to. Back to the buffalo, though. Since apparently that part was muted, what I told you, the listeners can hear or whatever. Apparently, some experts have told me, because people are experts on buffaloes apparently, that I was dangerously close to that buffalo, and if he wanted to charge me, I would have. So,
Yeah, but he
hooray,
knew.
all that.
He knew that letting you go would make your life way worse than injuring you there.
Yeah, I mean, because then I would have just had a cool buffalo story.
Right. Yeah, you would have had a sweet scar and a story about a buffalo.
dude.
Instead, you just get this weird ass dweeb picture where it looks like you're not tucking in your shirt because of your pooch.
Yeah. Let's see. That was college. Yeah, I probably had at least a small pooch at that point instead of the large one I have now.
Freaky
So, yeah.
Dinky says, "Hi Tom, where's Jerry? Is that Buffalo Jerry?"
Well, you got
So-
some creative callers.
Hey man,
Or
I'm not
fans.
yeah, these aren't like, they're not even like fans. They're like enemies with benefits.
Is that really a thing?
I don't fucking know, man. Does any of this show seem like I know what I'm doing?
Yes, some of it.
That's shocking and mildly offensive.
Is it though? I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, I figured by the third week or whatever, you would have been somewhat intelligent and engaged with the content and how to get it all up to speed. But whatever, you do you, half-ass and everything. That's cool.
Mikey Two Milk says, "Fuck Tom. Here's that attention you've been ordering for 30 plus years and never got it." He's not wrong.
No, he's not.
It's like all you crave is attention, but then you get mad whenever you receive it.
Listen, sometimes people are complicated and they don't know
Oh,
what's best
now
for them.
you're complicated. Oh, I'm sorry. The dude that went to Christian college is complicated?
I'm guessing you want me to actually say no.
You can say whatever you want, man. I'm not a liberal. I'm not going to tell you how to think. Yet.
No, you're a libertarian. You're just going to force it on my throat later.
No, I'm just going to put weird pictures of you with a buffalo and see where it goes.
That's fair.
You're a real
Yeah.
Buffalo Jill. You know that?
Wow. What a fucking stretch on that one there, Corey.
I thought it was pretty good.
Did you?
Yeah.
Boy, that's some of the real creative COVID-19 humor you've been coming up with, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's technically SARS-2 humor, but you don't care about that, I'm sure.
SARS-2, Kung Flu, whatever the fucking people want to call it. I don't give a shit.
That's just racist, Tom.
Is it? I don't give a shit.
I feel like you do give a shit deep down inside, though.
All right, maybe a little bit.
Tell me where the buffalo hurt you.
Nowhere. It was actually, that was Yellowstone, so that was gosh, I don't know. I was out there for a wedding though. My friend was getting married, and I was the backup usher because one of the first picks for ushers was not able to do.
You look like somebody that's a backup usher, just in life.
Yeah, or B squad usher is what I like to call it, actually.
Tom C squad usher.
No.
No.
That just sounds like I have like a fucking limp or something like that.
You're not laughing at these jokes at your expense like you normally do. Are you still down, buddy? Are you okay?
Oh, it's just a long day, man. That shift at work got me today, so.
Tovar says, "Cheer up, Tom. Go photobomb more farm animals."
You would think a buffalo's
And
a
then
farm
he asked
animal.
us to show us where the buffalo touched you.
Wow, he's stealing your bits now, huh?
I mean, it was more of a collection. I mean, like, at some point, it's not a bit, but just a very curious observation that you have not denied.
Listen, that buffalo never touched me. I never touched it either, okay? So
It
let's
was
make sure
consensual.
that's-
That buffalo had permission. You leave him alone.
Yeah. Okay? Everything was 100% legit. There was no harming of the animals whatsoever. I stand by that story.
Now, what part of the buffalo did you put that thumb into?
I think it was its ear, but I'm not exactly sure on the
You do look like a guy that's into like some weird buffalo ear shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's got to have their thing, right?
Hey, man, I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, you trying to kink shame me now? What the fuck, bro?
Law and Order SVU sound? I don't know what that means. Oh, because I get it now. I don't have that one. I should have that on my soundbar has been a pretty big failure, Tom. I'm not going to lie.
Well, aren't all the Law and Order sounds the same? That's all it is. It's the same for every Law and Order, not SVU as the same.
I'm just playing sound effects over you talking.
Sounds pretty normal. Oh shit! Every time I think you give me a call, there's plenty of soundtracks.
Every
Or
time
sound
what?
clips over the top. Every time I'm on your show, there seems to be sound clips over my audio, so that's fine.
Somebody's calling you Buffalo Tom. Someone else is calling you a tomato. Which insult hurts? What's the most hurtful insult you've received as a ginger? Sorry, Cinnamon American. My bad.
Probably fire crotch. I mean, it wasn't so much offensive as it was just kind of ill-timed. I mean, I got called that by as a child a lot by adults, so kind of weird. Kind of sticks with you a little bit.
Do you think this is Comic Unleashed? Is that why you're running material?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I just felt you were trying to set me up for that bit, so that's on you.
Keep going then. Like, deliver that bit, man. Just deliver the shit
Nope.
out of it.
Nope. Go fuck yourself, Corey.
Come on,
it's
dude.
over. The
Welcome.
moment's
No,
done.
welcome to this open mic, Tom. It's just a real honor to have you on my open mic. I would also like to say this is always the distance I prefer to interact with your comedy.
Is cities apart and by Facebook Messenger conversation? I get you.
Way to take the mystery out of it for everybody.
Oh,
For all they know, I contact you on Ventrilo.
Okay. I mean, they can still hear the audio of the actual call you're making, though, right? It's the same.
That could be a sound effect off my fucking board, Tom. I don't need you to tell me how to fucking enrich this experience to the listeners.
Are you sure you don't? Are you sure you don't?
I mean,
Or sure you're not?
I would like to believe I don't.
Okay, there you go. As long as it's all belief in your own abilities, there, Corey.
Who's your top
No
5
one else
wrestlers
believes
all
you.
time?
Top 5 wrestlers?
All time.
Bret Hart. I mean, I'm a huge Sting fan. He's not necessarily the best technical wrestler. Eddie Guerrero. You can't really say his name, but Chris Benoit is up there. Big fan of Killer Kowalski, and I don't know, probably well, he wasn't a wrestler, but Bobby the Brain Heenan was pretty dope.
Bobby the
Kurt
Brain
Hennig,
Heenan
let's
got
say Kurt
mentioned earlier in this thing. That is a terrible top 5 other than that, though.
Well, that was actually, instead of throwing a manager in there, why not just say Kurt Hennig? So
Yeah. That's
Mr.
what an
Perfect.
interesting, what a unique top 5 you have, Tom. The chat room is still letting you have it. How does that make you feel?
it sounds about normal with this chat room.
Tovar says you look like Carrot Top before he went fat camp.
Wow, Tower, that's a great burn. Holy shit.
You look like
Yeah,
Carrot Bottom for Buffaloes.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. That's a better one. No, that definitely didn't come from Tovar right there.
Mikey Two Milk says, Tom, at what point did you realize you were sexually attracted to farm animals? At what age specifically?
Oh, I'm not sexually attracted to farm animals. That's a bold-faced lie that the tabloids want you to believe. But there's no.
Shut the fuck
there's
up.
no
Nobody, like, what fucking tabloids? You're not relevant enough to be on, like, the Sun Sailor?
Yeah, well, no shit, you son of a bitch. That's why I'm saying it like that. I've never been attracted to farm animals, but what the fuck was I gonna say other than, oh no, I'm clearly not attracted to farm animals. I know the fucking bit's happening, man. I'm gonna go with it a little bit. Would you fucking?
Hey man, I'm just glad that we found a very supportive, joking environment where you can own up to your love of farm animals.
I mean, listen, if you never thought like a baby pig or a baby goat is not cute, that's on you, okay?
What's your favorite saddle? Is it bareback?
That's not a saddle, but
it is if you ride it right.
Wow. Okay.
Get along, little doggy. Yeah. Do you work tomorrow?
No.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's why I was willing to take your phone call, even though I'm pretty tired still.
Yeah, because you're a fucking team player, bro.
Yeah, I know how important I am to that program you call. What is it actually called again?
Doesn't have a name yet. Doesn't have a name yet. Fuck off.
Okay. I mean, you might as well just call it fuck off the way you treat most of the people who are on it. But, whatever, you do you.
Tom, just because I treat you a certain way doesn't mean I'm treating other people like that.
Or, thank you?
Yeah.
No, that's definitely
Your persecution
How
is
dare
something I take a close personal interest in. I don't know if that's sweet or demonic, but it's what it is.
Speaking of persecution,
You're just
what are you
somebody.
gonna do for Easter tomorrow?
You're just somebody that I want dead at my hands. You know, like you ever see Gangs of New York?
No, I haven't.
You should watch that. You would like it.
Not all the way through, anyways. I've seen clips here and there.
Otsu wants to know if you're banned from the zoo because of your fetish.
Who asked that?
Otsu?
Oh, no.
Good.
I
Answer
can
the
go to the
goddamn
zoo.
question.
I can go to the zoo. Okay?
Just not the Como Zoo since the incident.
Well, the Como Zoo should never be free anyways, but that's on them. And then also, too, I can't go to petting zoos. That's what they're probably thinking.
Yeah, because you turn them into heavy petting zoos. What up? Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? Yes! Fuck yeah, don't boo me. Fucking yes! Yes! I pressed the wrong sound effects, but the crowd is definitely into it once I got around to hitting the applause and not the boos, Tom.
You know what? Bravo. Well done, Corey. Congratulations. That was superb. That was superb.
Yeah,
You're
you
the
goddamn right. I don't
You're the
want to
best.
brag, but I'm a semi-professional at this. I'm going semi-pro, baby.
You're at basically low A ball. If you're going to play baseball analogy? Is that what that?
Shut the
basically-
fuck up. How dare you? How
sorry.
dare you? Tell them
Well,
to donate
you
to
know
my Venmo right now. Make up for it.
Hold on. Let me. Corey Adam Comedy on Venmo and PayPal. By the way, everybody.
If you enjoy the way
listen.
that I'm harassing this friend with farm animals, donate to my Venmo for even more farm animal harassment.
That's a good point. Hey,
Can we,
by the way,
hey,
you
can we
me
have
on
a
your-
can we have a Photoshop contest of who can like Photoshop you fucking an animal the best way? Maybe they win a prize or
Absolutely
something.
not.
What?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Absolutely not. Because I don't fuck farm animals, and I
Because
just feel
okay,
like that'd
I
be-
have this idea, right? Just hear me out, okay?
Okay.
Netflix and Chili Goat,
Get the fuck out of here.
and it's just you banging a goat while you two are not watching Netflix.
Get the fuck.
I think it
outta
could be
here.
big.
No, it couldn't be big.
And then the sequel, we can call it the Chili Goat's Gruff.
You know what's really sad about these is that.
And your porn
they're
name,
pretty-
dude, your porn name is going to be Glom Chillstorm. Yeah, you're fucking into it now. Finally, a
No.
social outlet for you to fuck animals that may or may not be profitable. You're welcome.
Oh, you are something special, aren't you, Corey?
What? Why?
Well, I mean, special is my indirect way of calling you retarded. But
I don't think you're allowed to use that word anymore.
oh,
Buffalo
fuck
fucker.
All right, fair enough. I'm sorry that he used the R word.
Freaky Deaky says Tom looks like he wears a long sleeve shirt. He's so white.
No, that's about right. I mean, actually, I think after that day at Yellowstone, I definitely had a good burn on me. So
We could call the third
Yeah.
one Mellowstone.
boy, you are
Filmed on location.
you're really having fun with this, aren't you?
Yeah, oddly enough, this is bringing me joy. I don't experience what you humans call joy very often, so I'm going to cherish this one.
That's a good thing. Good
Tom,
for you.
you are a good human, even though you have sex with non-humans.
What kind of moron wrote that?
MME 35 says, Tom, the phrase you want is bless your heart.
No, because that I feel like I'd just be taking that from Swartzen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I mean, he took it from God, right?
Well, kinda.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't own Catholic catchphrases, bro. I could be wrong,
True.
I guess, but whatever. I don't think I am.
True, but every time I talk to Swartzen, he's always saying that that people just randomly coming by and trying to shoot the shit or get an autograph or some shit. Well, bless your heart.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't really say that. By the way, no. Let me get this off my chest. So you had me on yesterday. You don't even talk to me about the XFL. You just fucking go on to that topic after we're done talking. I mean, I feel very
I forget sometimes that you're plugged into current events. I'm sorry. You're right. That was an overstrike of me. I also think that there's just a lot of pain in my heart yesterday over it.
over the loss of the XFL, or that Bernie finally dropped out. I mean, really,
The
which was
XFL, the
fan?
XFL hit me harder than Bernie. Bernie was just awesome for me because it was carte blanche to uncork my guns and just go at every fucking liberal D-bag that went after anybody I know that votes for Trump. Because here's the thing. I don't care. I don't have a horse in that race. I think everybody knows. I mean, I've got a fucking libertarian flag behind me, motherfucker. And don't go Gadsden.
Right.
We know what it is. Doesn't matter. You know what symbol is. Like, it's funny how
Right.
the same people that say the Confederate flag is racist say that the rattlesnake is not a libertarian flag. Right? Like,
Well, that's
have some
true.
fucking consistency in your own train of thoughts, you stupid fucking dumbs. But anyways, like, no, the Bernie thing was great because anybody that publicly was announcing they're going to go for Bernie or go for Biden, I was able to lace in because part of the way that they browbeat and gaslit everybody that voted for Trump was this is unacceptable. He's a sexual assault predator. Well, now you're doing exactly the thing you say that you couldn't, and you're also the ones pressing believe all women, but you're not believing all women.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like the hypocrisy is at a point. I mean, I got tons of my friends. I got Hewler. I got fucking Sarah. I got so many of my friends where they just had to flat out admit to me that they were hypocrites because they were being hypocrites.
Right. No, it's just such a weird candidate choice, being that what we know that has from his past, and then also what's come to light since he's been the vice president. I mean, honestly, like it's such a weird candidate choice to begin with, and how he actually even lasted past like the first couple debates and even made it this far.
Well, I mean, he only really made it through those debates because of Bloomberg. Everybody was focused on kicking Bloomberg the fuck out, so they didn't like if Bloomberg's not in that. I think, like, my deep conspiracy thought is that Bloomberg was a plant for Biden. Because during those debates, during all that, rather than pick on Biden, they're going over what they believe is Bloomberg. You know, they got to stop the Trump guy, right?
Right.
Because look
No,
at,
that's
like,
true.
the first two debates was just everybody just ganging up on Bloomberg. If Bloomberg's
Right.
not there, they're doing that to Biden.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But what happened
I
is
don't
you
know.
sit there and you back off and you let everybody give it a chance. I mean, like that was the funniest part about the Democratic primaries to me. It was like a round robin of everybody with baseball bats just fucking killing somebody. Like, they're just straight up murking people, you know? Like, Tulsi Gabbard straight up murked Kamala Harris.
Right.
Fucking Yang, Pete, and Bernie straight up murked Bloomberg.
Yeah.
And that's
You know, I will say that though too. When you and Tover were talking about Yang, actually, if he was still in the race, actually, I would definitely consider. And I told liberal friends this. I said if you all would have actually looked at Andrew Yang as an actual candidate instead of just passing him off as too young, too inexperienced, or whatever the fuck you guys were saying, or too close to the middle, or whatever the fuck they want to say, that he would have been probably their best bet, because he would have been able to pull a lot of the moderates, the Republican Party over there, that felt like they might have been getting a little ostracized from Trump and his camp. Like, Yang would have been able to bring a lot more people together to possibly get the Democrats in the White House, and they blew it. They just straight up blew it.
They straight up blew it, and they don't understand. They don't understand why they blew it. You know.
Well, because
Like
they want
that
a
was
big
the whole
name.
thing about this. That you and I talked about it all the time when we were going to the Gary Johnson meetings. The Dems
Right.
don't understand how they were losing, and that's why.
Right. Yeah, because they want that name behind it, and then when they have that name, it's not a good name. Like, that was the thing with Clinton. It wasn't a good name to have. Warren wouldn't have been a good name, like, as far as
Dr.
any
Waterbury
independence.
says, has Barack even endorsed him yet? I don't know. That was what was real weird, too, is how often, I mean, he was basically being John Malkovich. He was like, Obamovich, and then at no point did Obama endorse him. I also think that maybe sneaky you might see Obama as a VP. Or if you don't see that, you'll see Obama as Supreme Court Justice if they win, which they won't, so whatever.
Right.
MME35 says, when someone does something retarded, Southerners say that to them. Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, whatever. Das Boot says, Corey, hey, man. Hey, boy, hey. MME says, the Democratic race was the worst Royal Rumble ever. Not wrong.
Well,
Waterbury
yeah.
says, aside from universal basic income, Yang is entertaining. Yeah, he's super entertaining, and even his stuff about it is okay too. Like I'm not a big fan of universal basic income, but at least he had metrics that were not based in fiction. I still think they're garbage, but they're not just absolutely fictitious like everybody else.
Right, and he is still more of a free market guy than what, like Bernie, again, really couldn't have made it as a Democratic candidate because he was just too far left for most of the base to really tolerate. So again, he was put up there as like, well, we'll give the younger people what they want, even though we really don't believe it.
Right.
But,
Well, but that's kind of been their MO the whole time. That's kind of been the way that they go about this as a party now.
Right.
And
But
that's
again,
something Justin Amish, or Amish, I always forget, 2020. I don't know. Do you think he'll be on the Libertarian ballot, Brian? Because I think we're going to look at Hornberger. I think that's going to be your Libertarian. I think if Amish wanted to, like, it would be a better move because people know who he is.
No, it would be a decent move. To be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of looking in. I did see what Joe Jorgensen sent. Some
Hornberger,
emails out.
so Libertarian stuff. I'll give you a quick little tutorial, right? Amish is the guy that everybody would want, but like Hornberger's the guy that's going to be made to bid. And Hornberger was very early on and very responsible for the momentum that Ron Paul got. So he's kind of like a party member. He's like George Washington. He's really awesome and all the libertarians like him, but he doesn't really want to do it. He's turned it down a bunch. And at this point, if they can't get Amish, they're going to make him. And it sucks because like that guy's awesome, but he's not a known thing, Yeah, he's such a good candidate. He's not a real politician type shit,
Yeah,
like the opposite of Trump.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah. No, it's just so frustrating though too, because again, the Democrats could have actually come up with a candidate that could have actually brought.
They had them hand delivered. I mean, they had a youth movement put on their fucking doors. I honestly believe. Like, I don't think Sanders could beat Trump. I just don't. I don't believe that. But I do think that, like, you get somebody like Yang, you get somebody like Tulsi, you get somebody like even Pete, like, the younger aspect of it, that youth movement would have carried. Because everybody is so young, or so old now. People that are younger than fucking 30, they don't feel represented by a 70-year-old who's going to fucking legislate the internet even though they don't even know what dark web is. You know what I mean? Like they think dark web is a fucking .com.
Can you please refer to it as dark web? Please, just one time. There we go. All right.
That should be the name of your fucking website for your fucking shit. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go. I wasn't even planning on wasting this much time with you, Buffalo fucker.
All right, sorry about that.
But tell the people where to find you.
At Tom Chillstrom on Twitter and Instagram, or facebook.com/tom.chillstrom, or literally just Google Tom Chillstrom. It will come up with only one person out of 7.7 billion people.
That's how uniquely boring you are. You're the one person and you still don't get more traffic. What's up with that? Also, hey, don't kill yourself, huh?
I'm not gonna kill myself. You don't kill yourself either, right?
I make no promises. I mean,
Well, you got better drugs than I got. I really got alcohol over here. So.
Let me see how the Game of Thrones books ends up, and then I'll get back to you.
No, fair enough. Well, don't kill yourself over a fucking book. That kind of seems a bit outlandish and kind of a childish thing to do.
Huh.
Are you a fucking Twilight fan too? Fucking idiot.
I do like Twilight. What's wrong with Twilight?
Get fucked, you idiot. All right, man. I'll talk to you later. You guys all have a great night.
Or what? Or what?
You'll do nothing.
That's right. So everything's good though. You're doing good.
Yeah, man. We're doing great.
Okay. You're not having those dark, weird thoughts anymore.
No, everything's good, man.
You're sure?
I'm 100% positive.
Because like if I have to read about you fucking yourself up or like killing yourself, like I will defile your corpse. Like I want you to know that as your friend, right? Like if I ever find out you kill yourself, I will mark up your body so it's embarrassing wherever your soul ends up.
Don't worry. I mean, the plan is.
But that's out of love, man. It's out of love.
No, dude, I get you, man.
I have the same platonic love that you don't have for animals that you have intercourse with.
Can I be honest with you? If I ever commit suicide, it's gonna be assisted suicide because of some other thing that's gonna cause me more drawn out, longer pain or whatever. So don't worry about that. That's not reassuring, Tom. Illness.
Tom, that's not reassuring. No,
I'm
stop. Just say, yeah, I won't kill myself. The fuck is wrong with you?
Bro.
Okay, good. Now I know you can't commit suicide because that's how it works, right?
Right.
I get you to commit to not doing it, and then you can't. That's how the rules go, right?
Well, you know I'm also a very trustworthy person, so
That's
if
true.
I say I'm going to
I
do
do.
something,
Yeah, no,
I'm going to
I'm
do it.
holding
So
you.
not
I'm
gonna
holding
miss
you
that.
at your word that you will not kill yourself, Tom.
Absolutely will not kill myself. 100%.
I'd like to.
not
I'd
killing
like to
myself.
play teenage suicide. Don't do it. But you're way older than a teenager, so I can't.
It's way past teenage years. Yep. So.
It's not
All
even
right,
really
man.
a suicide, right? It's just like a late-term abortion, like we discussed.
Well, at this point, it's just actually more like a sad relief. It's like, okay.
All right.
Good for
Well,
him, I
speaking
guess.
of sad relief, that's Tom's time.
Later, bud.
All right, buddy. Goodbye. That was Tom Chilstrom. Still not killing himself. Man, there's no way that that's not ridiculous. Oh, you guys, it's been pretty fun so far. Bye, Tom. Bye, Tom. Bye, Tom. Yep. What do you know about Hillary Clinton? Nothing. I know nothing about Hillary Clinton. That's why I'm still alive here. That's how that fucking works. So that's cool, right? All right. Let's roll over. I know we have where are we? Jesus Christ. We went long tonight. Here, you know what? We'll cram him in real quick. Good. Be super drunk.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Identify yourself to the viewers.
I am boiling water. Hi guys.
Switch over to the better fucking
Oh,
internet, man.
What's that?
Switch over to the better internet.
Oh yeah, hang on. One of these days on the show.
What?
Hello.
Hi. I'm going to hang up and call you back.
No, I'm here. Are you here?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Never mind. You're here now.
Yeah. Sorry, it just took a second. Sorry. No, one of these days I'll remember before the show.
All right. You tell them what's going to happen. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
What's gonna happen is I don't know what's gonna happen. Why would I know what's gonna happen?
I feel like you know.
What would I know?
I feel like you know.
All right.
Tell
here's
people
what I
who you
think
are.
is gonna
I'll be
happen.
right back.
I'm Stephen Tovar. I live down the street from Corey. I'm stuck in this mess with him. Oh, geez, where was this at? This picture. Oh, okay. It must be Joe Roberts' room. Well, no. Anyway. Yeah. So, what's going on, guys? Try that again. Corey. I've been drinking a lot tonight too. Tonight's, I think Saturdays are my drinking nights. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go get myself another beer. Another taunt as part of the show. I really like all the stuff that Corey's getting done with the show lately. Like watching the chat room kind of grow and watching the room grow the last couple of weeks has been kind of fun. What do I want to drink? Yeah, Summit. Summit's what I want to drink in the apocalypse. Seems about. How you guys doing? Yeah, cheers, man. What's going on? I loved your segment, Drew. That was fun. I like watching libertarians talk about the world and as it's coming around. Yeah, I got a sampler pack. So right now I'm drinking their 21 IPA, and I'm pouring it into another glass while I talk on the phone right now because I want to see how multi-talented I am. I don't.
Well, you've wasted all that time.
I am. I'm here to waste your time, Corey Adam. It's Saturday. Do you think I'm going to be... Oh, nope, I'm not doing that right now. I've been drinking a little bit.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming down a little bit. I was more day buzzed than I am night buzzed.
Okay. That'll happen sometimes, right?
Yeah, I think that's because I start drinking earlier, and then so you get kind of buzzed when the sun's out and the sun starts to get down. And, yeah,
that reminds me of like Mexico when I went to Mexico, right? Like, because of how hot it is in the sun there, I can just drink like a superhero forever.
Oh, yeah. No, growing up in Southern California, that was the same way. Like, I lost a lot of my endurance.
Also, the picture I used of you today looks like you were at a rally.
Are you sure it wasn't taken by I don't even want to mention her name.
I mean, we could go over it. I was actually going to broach the subject of whether or not you wanted to talk about it. I'm okay.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with it. I don't care.
Yeah,
you could. I mean,
no, yeah. So I was accosted last night over a picture that Corey Adam used on the show last.
I grabbed a picture that was the property of someone else that you, not even property that that person had taken.
No, it was a property of Facebook.
Right.
It was a public picture.
Well, I just went onto the profile
Yeah.
and grabbed a profile picture, and then because you and her had some kind of beef about pictures not too long ago, right?
Yeah, because she was trying to like be all super creepy with a camera at a show, and I just called her out in public about it, and like obviously she didn't like that, so it went from there. But yeah, and then like she unfriended me and blocked me, and so I couldn't see any and this was like months ago, and then like out of the blue, she went through 2 days worth of my posts, and you guys are welcome to go back to my Facebook and check it out. She went through 29 of my posts and then was just like, take down my picture, you fucking hypocrite, or whatever.
Didn't she call your girlfriend a slut like twice in her first post too?
Yeah, there's like a one where she went after my girlfriend like that, and yeah, she's just being like super ugly, and I was like, holy crap, like, didn't you unfriend me and block me because like this is really gross? What the fuck? And she still hasn't blocked me. At least I haven't checked or whatever. But like, yeah, but she blocked my girlfriend, so it makes me wonder like what other kind of like weird shit is she gonna do?
It is like to her point, right?
Yeah.
It is weird that you would have pictures of her given your very adamant stance that she is not to picture you.
The problem is that like it was at the, I mean, because you ran this show, it was at Willie's. It was a bar in Coon Rapids, and like 100 people took my picture at that show, and I don't know, and like how old is my Facebook account? 10 years old now. In that 10 years, am I supposed to go back and find every single picture that I think she took and took it down? I don't hate her that much, and I don't have that much ambition. And it's unfortunate, I guess, that you used one of her pictures. But the second you upload a picture, it's public property. I didn't pay her anything for that picture. She, sort of a certain point, like, I guess don't take pictures of people that you're going to hate one day. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
I don't know what that means, but that's pretty funny. Like, it's a really weird, funny thing to say to somebody. Like, because, like, he just, in one of the comments, he was like, fucking, you shouldn't have taken pictures if you knew you would have hated me at some point. Like, that's weird, right?
Yeah, right. Because I'm just like, what? I mean, don't fucking. You're the one donating your time and your energy. Like, no, you haven't charged anyone for any of these things. You're doing it for. I didn't ask you to take my picture ever. Not once, ever did I say, "Em, please take my picture." Those words never left my fucking mouth.
You're using names.
Yeah. Whoops. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just.
It's just a very weird interaction that went from
zero
to fucking crazy immediately. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if you're trying to get somebody to take it down, maybe approach it differently, you know? Because I'm sure if she had just sent you a private message or just said, hey, I know you don't like me taking pictures. Please don't use my picture on something. I don't feel like that's an unreasonable request.
No, I probably would have asked her which one she wanted me to take down, and I would have went and done it. Like, I would have.
Das Boot said sniping, gave us $1,000, and then said, take my picture, Grant. You want us to take your picture? Oh shit! Oh shit! Hold on, here comes some air horns. We're back.
How do you fix that? Can you fix that to where where I would be able to hear the sound effects?
No. Well, so okay, long, yes. Short, no. I could do it. It would take me a little bit more money, and I would have to change the interface of where I call. Which wouldn't be a big deal for you, but a lot of my friends I'm calling on Facebook Messenger because they're old and they don't understand technology. And I can get a pretty decent, like even now, it's a pretty decent quality conversation just going in through the audio on Facebook. Yeah.
No, I know all about technology. Trying to get people to figure out how to go through that Friday routine of getting into my show is sometimes kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, but that's on
you. You're like, hey, man, follow me across 17 different platforms on 8 different... Like, I'm surprised you don't have 3 different starting times with how hard that is to follow.
Well, it's the same starting... I knew that. Like, if it's the same starting time, it's easy. Just like...
But mine's the same starting time, the same place every, like, this amount of days. I feel like the multi-platforms... and the multi-days make it harder to follow. I mean, I'm not like I have no issue with it because I know, but I'm just saying it seems like it would be harder.
I don't think that I have the stamina to be able to put out a once-a-day show on the same thing like you're doing. Like,
it sucks.
Yeah. No, I know. Like, and that's the thing is just the 3 shows that I do, and calling into your show every night. I feel like it's like an actual, not a chore, but you know what I'm saying? It's actual work. You know, you got to
You
write
are
things,
fake
you got to think
news.
about things during the day. And I love it. It takes time out of my day. It makes the day go quicker, but it's definitely work, you know? You just gotta, I don't know, you just gotta learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, I
But
mean
yeah,
it's
and I don't know
whatever
how,
it is, right?
no, well, and I was gonna say, I don't know how you do what you do, because like, you fucking are churning out 3 hours a day. I'm sure you gotta be thinking about that from like the time you get up to the time you go to bed,
Yeah.
about like everything, and it's gonna be like that for forever, because like I know you, like you focus on one thing and that's all you do until you've mastered that thing.
Well, I'm like, and like I am a very slow learner, but when I learn something, it's completely, and my ambition will never ever be satisfied or contained.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that as I don't use pro adjectives to describe myself very often, but I am very stubborn and I am very ambitious, and I can pound my head on a wall till the wall is no longer there. And that's what a lot of this represented. I mean, not just this show, but the idea that like I have to figure out a way to actually go and do it. Like how to make a living or try to. I mean, this has been able to pay some bills. Will it be sustainable long term? I don't know. Go to Venmo and donate to Corey Adam Comedy and PayPal. But the idea is like you have to, we were talking about that a little bit earlier with Tom, is like you have to adapt or you die. Like coming in and out of this, Tommy Bear said it when he was on this show too, is the people that were comics before this,
Man,
you don't just get to be comics going forward.
Yeah.
You have to claw, you have to chow, and you have to grind. It's basically everybody starting over from scratch right now. And I mean, there's a lot of people that understand that, but there's also a lot of people that don't.
It's a lot of bitterness,
right?
You know,
and that bitterness, because the people at the top, especially the people that were like a little bit older than me, they're indoctrinated into something that they've worked their life at, so they feel they deserve it. You don't just get to be a comic. When shit hits the fan, I mean, every single person, myself included, knew when you chose this profession, there is a very good chance it blows up in your face and you're not allowed to do it. That was a thing. And nobody said that it wouldn't be, you could do it for 3 years and then never again.
Hey, Corey, remember when I said 10 years in we'd be in the same boat? Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna like razz you too bad, but I mean, we would have been in the same boat if you didn't proceed to take breaks, which you needed to do. I mean, like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm any better than you. I just think I didn't take a break.
No, I know. It's really funny to me because I think a lot of these comics are realizing that like all
MME35 says, I want Corey to master this platform in order for Corey versus Alex Jones. What actually was COVID? I just want somebody to destroy Alex Jones. I will do it. I would fucking love to destroy fucking Frogs Are Gay, dude.
Dude, is Rush Limbaugh dead of COVID yet with that lung cancer?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, who cares? Why would you even listen to a fucking 300-pound man named Rush is beyond me.
Right? That's crazy. I've actually known people because I work for a lot of different folks, and like you get in every once in a while and they'll have him on talk radio or whatever. It's really gross. Or in some form of because he's on a couple syndicated channels, I'm sure. I don't fucking
he's
follow him
syndicated
that
across the country, man.
Yeah.
So what's your tip for tonight?
I don't know. It's Saturday, man. You're looking at
your tip is let Saturday be Saturday, man.
Yeah, let Saturday be Saturday, dude. Have a day. Have a fucking day. I smoked, man. Oh my god. I highly suggest you guys get yourself some maple hickory. What was it? Yeah. So I smoked it with cherry and like maple hickory, I believe it is. I'm actually gonna go get the wood right now because it was so fucking good. It was like a 4-hour smoke. And I pulled it out and I had it with some like stuffing and some mashed potatoes. I had Easter a day early today because it's gonna be cold as shit tomorrow, and I don't want to smoke in 30-degree weather. Let me see. Yeah, my cherry wood. Oh yeah, sugar maple wood. That's what I use. And it was so
sugar
fucking
maple
good.
wood. What is that?
Yeah, it's just a form of tree. It's like a sugar maple tree. So you grind that up in the wood chunks, and then I put that in with some like apple and cherry wood, and then I threw it into my smoker for like 4 hours.
That's
and
awesome.
I pulled it out, and I fucking ate it, and it was so good. Oh my god. Well, oh, and also I sacrificed. So I had some pineapple juice that we've been using for mixers, and so I sacrificed one of those, and I mixed it with some honey, and I put that on there with a glaze with like some cumin and like some like chili powder and like pepper and
Yeah,
salt.
Dr.
And stuff.
Waterbury is quite the barbecue guy. You guys will have a lot of conversations about that.
Yeah. I'd love to see you on Joe Rogan too, man. That'd be a cool show. I think you'll get there. You've already done a show with him, so I could see that in the future.
I went to a show that he was on. I didn't do a show with him.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I mean, the like maple syrup thing really makes everything better when you're talking smoking, for sure.
Especially the hams, man. Like, cause you get that sweetness with the salty of the ham, you know. And it's so fucking. And that's why I did the pineapple honey glaze on it too. Was just like a little bit of cumin and like salt and pepper. Oh my god, you just get like that little bit of crisp with the sweet, and then the salt of the ham. It's so good.
Seems like it would be. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that would be better as chicken wings, but maybe that's just me.
You can do chicken wings. For chicken, I'll do like a pecan wood too. I'll do like a pecan cherry if I'm doing a chicken wing. Pecan's really good for turkeys too.
Waterbury goes, yeah, the maple tree that gives you syrup from. And then Magic Cosmo goes, LOL, sugar doesn't grow on trees.
Sugar doesn't grow on trees. I saw that.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, and but that ham is going to last me for fucking the whole week. And then when I'm done, I'm probably going to make a gallon or two of soup stock with it and some ham and bean soup.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so like I'm going to get.
So how many meals are you going to get out of that ham?
I'm going to get at least, I would say, 8 to 12 days worth of meals out of this thing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think, I mean, because we ate until we were full and we just barely scratched the surface, you know. And now
you're going to get probably 2 more meals out of it, I would think.
Well, no, because I'm going to get more than that because I'll mix it with pasta, I'll mix it with rice.
Waterbury says depression meal planning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll mix it with rice. I'll mix it with pasta. I'll mix it with eggs. We're already talking about making some breakfast and shit with it. So yeah, like I'll mix it with everything to make everything else stretch out further. You know, I can mix it with some macaroni and cheese, and then I got my protein for the day. You know. But ham is literally, that's why I bought so many of them. Like my freezer is still stuffed full, because you can literally cut that shit up and put it in fucking anything.
That's pretty rad.
Especially when it's smoked with that kind of wood. It's so good.
All right, so your tips. You have no tips.
Mm-hmm. Other than I'm probably eating better than most of you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I know you and these people don't, but I feel like that was always the case. You know what I mean? Like at no point did I think I was eating better than you.
I don't know how because I've never been a professional cook. You know, I guess I've worked in restaurants and everything, but like never on the cook. I just kind of fell into knowing my way around the kitchen and a smoker, and I've always been in a barbecue.
That's pretty cool. All right, Tovar, tell people where to get a hold of you.
All right, Stephen Tovar 79 on Instagram, Stephen Tovar on Facebook, and my underscore name here is Tovarius _79.
And where can they find you do your thing? Give out the read list. Here you go.
Oh yeah, so Monday I'll be doing my Monday news on Twitch. Wednesday I'll be doing my one-on-one, and Friday is my hanging out with friends sessions. Always at 6 p.m. Central.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Thanks, man.
That was Tovar. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, buddy.
Yep.
All right. That was Tovar. Tovar didn't have any tips because he just didn't feel like it, I guess. So, whatever. How are we doing, everybody? Everybody good? Yep. Chat is emptying out a little bit. Everything's going good. I had, I think, another thing to do, but we went so over today. We had a great show. Thank you so much for everybody listening. Let's just go ahead and we will move over into the end phase. Here we go. Ready? Here it comes. Oh, God. The end phase. So, yeah. Here we are in the end phase. Setting everything up to be over. Another good one tonight, guys. I gotta be honest. This week is starting to feel better for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it just it feels like everything is coming across at a better rate. Like it's just it's just easier. Not easier. Like that's not the word. I'm putting a lot more prep work into it, so I think it might be harder, but I'm better. I'm prepared more, but it seems like it's just skittering by in a way that it wasn't, even a few months ago, I guess, or a few weeks ago. Months. I've been doing this for months. No, I mean, it just feels like everything is kind of drawing in. I'm good. Finally able to watch one live. Damn, I missed this one too. Well, check this out. Here we go. You ready? You ready? This is just for you. Here we go. Are you ready? Wait. Where'd it go? There it is. Look at that. We're back. We're live. Oh my God. Let's interact with people. Magic Cosmo, how's it going? Yeah. Shout out to Kirk Hoven. Ooh, Musty Ropes. Kill yourself. Back into the end game we go. Magic Cosmos, you can also type the exclamation points, and there's a bunch of gems in there for you. So pretty good. Thank you for coming and watching. Even if you missed most of it live, I'm glad you got to see whatever part of it you did get to see on Pace. That was pretty cool. Yep, Snake Eyes is there. I mean, all the old phrases are there, man. I spent a lot of time on that chat bot because I thought it would be that's actually what I was more interested in. I just thought it would be super fun. And hold on, let's see here. I just want to see if we can do that. There we go. And now we can go to here. Yeah, there we go. All right. I think we got all of it set up, man. You'll see my next show. Yeah. So here, hold on. We'll go back. Remember that we do this Friday through Tuesday, 7:30 to 10:30. Tonight we went a little late. We went a little over, but guess what? Back into the end phase. We have nothing to fear. Go to Venmo or PayPal. Donate. Everything you donate helps me keep my lights on and keep streaming for you guys. Thank you so much. Again, it's just really cool, the support that I've seen from everybody coming here and just sharing their evening with us. I know that we're all quarantined and we're all bored. And remember, if you subscribe, you can have access to Nightbot. You can do all the fun, weird games. You also have access to the back content being 100% untouched. A lot of the times, YouTube makes me edit down. So you can see past episodes on YouTube, but the edit will be there. So thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow. Same time. Same place, same everything. Fucking, I'm out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. Hold on, you know what? That wasn't a good one. We're going to redo this because I had the fucking computer mic muted. This mute button is going to be my fucking downfall. I swear to God. Here we go. Thank you guys so much. I'm out. Goodbye.